title and everything.
Yeah, people need to just calm down a little bit.
Do you know what? That's exactly what me and my mate were just saying. That's exactly what my mate Chris was just saying to me. He's like,
Howdy, folks. Welcome once again to the Hotspur Hood on a Tuesday night. We couldn't do it last Tuesday. England, Scotland. I didn't even watch the game. I can't stand friendlies. But it makes sense to be back here on a Tuesday. If you watched the channel before and haven't subbed, make sure you do. Make sure you do. You know, I will come find you. It's free. Same with all these chaps here. We've all got channels. Well, sort of. All part of channels, put it that way. There's so much to chat about tonight. I was thinking, like, not always. We don't always have an all-star panel, but this tonight is an all-star panel. I was out back and I was just thinking, Eagle, Stel, I can't remember the last time I had you both on together. It's unbelievable. So,
like in a clip.
and Stel both on. The brilliant Johnny, the brilliant Danny, regulars on the channel. You see them here, there, and everywhere. So very, very much an all-star panel tonight. Do you know what? I'm going to start with the Sheffield United game because I always put some notes up, and I haven't really got a segment on the Sheffield United game. So Johnny, I'm going to keep it simple. Were you celebrating? Did you watch the game? Were you in complete celebration when that comeback was complete?
Yeah, no, I was there. There was a guy who sat 2 down from me for a Man United game, and the whole way through the game, all he could talk about was Richarlison, right? He had no other conversation. When Kulu had the ball, it was Richarlison's fault. And I just said to him, I said, mate, like, just give it a rest, you know? Like, Richarlison hasn't touched the ball. It can't be his fault. He's playing crap, but it's not his fault. Anyway, so he sat there on Saturday, and he's going the whole way through the game. On and on, and my mate's kicking me. He goes, don't do it. Anyway, 88 minutes, he gets up. He said, Richarlison, fucking shit. Kulu, shit. And he got up and he left. I'm out of here. 88 minutes. I was laughing. I didn't know whether to celebrate more the goal or the fact that he had left the building and missed it all. But no, I was celebrating. I didn't think you could get better than Man United, to be honest with you. And Burnley, which Brian and I went to, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Those were amazing games. But I think that final, 3 or 4 minutes on Saturday will take some beating.
Daigle, you wasn't at the game because I see you on We Are Tottenham TV. I don't always watch We Are Tottenham TV, but I did, and I've started watching it again for the commentaries because it's all Saturday 3 o'clock kickoff, so my streams are rubbish. I knew we were 1-0 down, and I was getting depressed, so I turned it off at the end. Were the scenes? Were you and Sim going mad?
Mate, you just have to go back and watch the highlights. First of all, obviously, I wasn't in the stadium. I won't go into the Levy entertainment complex whilst he's still in charge.
Is that a given now, Daigle? Is that all games? Is that a given now?
All games. I won't step foot. I'll step outside and protest. I won't step foot inside at all. I do go to away games when I can get the chance to. When it was 1-0 down, obviously, but Sim and I always thought we might get a goal back and we could do it. And then obviously the first goal, Brennan Johnson came on, scored a goal. It was like, got an assist, goal disallowed. We started celebrating. Scored a goal. Started celebrating offside, and you're just like, it's just not going to be our day then, is it? Then the equaliser came, and we went nuts. And then when Kulusevski scored, I'm still trying to work this out. When Simeon started celebrating, he went to take his shirt off and exposed all of himself. And as he went to do it, I've gone and hugged him. Now I'm trying to work out if I hugged him because I just wanted a hug in celebration, or I was trying to stop him getting demonetised or on Pornhub or something. So I can't work out which one of the two I was trying to do. But yeah, there were mad scenes. There were mad scenes, and the best thing to see was I've seen loads of
nipples.
Who knows, mate? Who knows?
To be fair, Barry's nipples were out on shelf side last Thursday, but then they're not monetized, are they? So slightly different there.
So that's a completely different conversation. But yeah, it was scenes, and I've seen the videos from everyone about when the goal went in and the celebrations after. Listen, that place right now is rocking. So yeah, it was a good day at We Are Tottenham TV HQ, but it was a better day inside the stadium, obviously.
I haven't been to a game. I went to one game last season. It was Man United. And to be fair, after the Man United game, I said, you know what, I'm not going to go to another game. It's not just Levy out. I just felt like I think it was after the Newcastle loss, and everyone was supposed to be Levy out in the crowd. It's just me and some other geezer who actually, funnily enough, was topless. Ironically, he was topless. The rest just sat there. So I said, this season, I'm probably not going to go to a game. I might do. If I can get tickets to Chelsea to see Poch, his first game, I want to see what happens there. I'll try and push it. I'll try and push it through. So anybody in the chat, any of the guests can get me a ticket, let me know. Stel, you haven't been on for a while either, my friend. Where were you? Were you at the game Saturday?
Yeah, I was there. First of all, join me. Our condolences to Sheffield United's tactics. The post-match comments of the Sheffield United manager. Rest in peace.
So I thought you were about to take a shot of it. I thought you were going to show your fetish for drinking wax or something there.
Yeah, just
I don't know what this contains.
Pour it on my body.
I'm sure you tell me.
Myself. Now, listen. We dominated the game. We dominated the play. We dominated shots. They hardly laid a glove on us. I think they had one really good chance. First half, Vicario made a save. They should have scored. We were the better team. We were the better players. 1-0 down was an absolute sucker punch and a half. But all I remember was Richarlison came on. His first touch, he slipped. His second touch, he miscontrolled it. And all I did was give him shit. Loads of shit. And then when he scored, I don't even know these people. Like 30 people just turned around pointing at me. Like, yeah. All right. Fucking hell. Right. And then 2 minutes later, the guys behind me, I don't know who they are. They've jumped on me. The guy in front jumped up on me. Everyone's just partying. I've dropped to the ground. I tried to record it. I thought I recorded a minute. I only got 7 seconds. That's what I put on YouTube. Crazy. It was honestly like it was a cup-winning goal. And then after the game, the celebrations, the dancing, the old school house music came on. Everyone was partying in the stands. Ange honestly just walked around the stadium, waved, clapped. Everyone was just so happy. And I don't think it was a case of, look, like, Johnny, you were there, okay? You tell me what you think. I don't feel those celebrations were a celebration of, yes, we've won. I didn't feel that's what it was about. I feel it's more a case of not confirmation, but I think people, and whether they're going too early or not, we can discuss later on. I feel people honestly feel there is a fundamental change at the club.
100%.
Like, I actually believe people feel that.
Yeah.
And that win was like another step to say, there you go, confirmation. I think that's what that celebration was about. Now, I'm not going to get carried away because it is early. And I remember when Antonio come, it was Antonio. And we were singing that throughout the whole season.
Conte Cam, remember Conte Cam, 90 minutes every game plus stoppage time.
Yeah. So I know how things can change quickly, and I know how quickly our fans can turn against the manager. But I just feel that the way we're playing, the way certain players look like they're some of the best players in the league at the moment, the spirit amongst the players, the way they celebrated the team, they come running off the bench, jumping on each. I just feel we've got Poch vibes back. We're back to Poch world.
I think it's
and
his
what it's
greatest
going
step. I think this is even. I think this is even. There's something special about this that even surpasses early Poch. There's something that's not
right. So Johnny, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Last night on our channel, Tottenham Away,
yeah,
I made a comment and it rattled a few people in the comments, and even Iggy we're having an argument. And this is what I said, right? You can tell me what you lot think. I've got a feeling Ange is going to be more popular than Poch. And I never thought that would be possible.
Yeah.
I've just got a feeling because he's more experienced, because he's more calmer, he doesn't switch off. Like even when we scored the winner at 2-1, his focus was right. I've got to fix the defense because I've taken one out. He's still in the game. And the way he handles the media is probably the best we've seen from any manager so far. And I just feel that if this carries on, not this year, but 2 years, 3 years down the line, and this is the comment I made. You tell me what you lot think. I think he's going to win over so many people that for the first time ever, I think Daniel Levy would genuinely shit himself not backing this guy, because I don't think he can afford to rock the boat with this man if it keeps going this way. And that bond with, I've got rival fans messaging me saying, I like this guy.
It's
Arsenal
the
fans
first
saying
time
it to
ever.
me.
Still, I was going to say to you now, like you were
But
saying.
I don't want to get carried
We've
away,
got-
yeah? I'm not
No,
getting
no,
carried away
still,
because I know what Levy's like.
you've
but
got-
I think
you've got-
Look, there's a segment, not this segment, but the next segment. I'm gonna bring everyone down to earth a little bit.
Yeah, but one thing I will say about what you're saying, still, is you got to remember you're right in everything you say, and the reason I'm saying that is even Poch. I don't know, and I'm talking Premier League and probably further. I don't know a manager that's come into a football club and the reaction has been like this within 5 league games. Poch it took after the Aston Villa game and the build-up. Conte, yeah, it was Antonio, whatever. This is another level. This is completely, this ain't even the same sport. The way that the Spurs fan base, me included, have taken to Ange is like nothing I've ever seen before in any team.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
He's
Look,
more philosophical. He's more philosophical. I mean,
yeah, but in some ways, you've got to admit this fella's got an easy job in some ways. Yeah, if you want to look at it from winning the fans' side of view, as all he had to do was come on and play attacking football, and he's already won 50% of the fans over. Yeah, that's just being realistic. He did.
No, that's
because
fair.
it got to the point. It got to the point that I didn't want to watch us play anymore. You lot didn't want to watch us play anymore. No one wanted to watch it play anymore because the football was just that crap. Yeah, it was that boring. It was just horrible to watch. Forget the winning or losing side. It was just the football was shit, period. As all he had to do was bring on some attacking football. And I'll give the man that. He's done it, and he's done it well. With the games we've won, bar one of them, you would say we expect to win anyway, really, if we're meant to be a top 6 club. I'm not saying Brentford away is easy, not at all. But they're games that we're supposed to win being a top 6 club. The one against Man U, yeah, we've had that one. We didn't beat Man U for a while, but Man U haven't been on form yet. His attitude is brilliant. And the other reason I think he's won it over so easy is because we've all been screaming for someone like Poch. And he seems to do it like Poch, but with more experience, like you said. I think he had quite an easy job on winning the fans over in general, at least 50%. All he had to do was put the attacking football.
I think so. I think that's a fair comment. It really is a fair comment because the way we finished last season after Conte, we were 4th under Conte. Last 10 games, we were getting spanked 6-1 by Newcastle. You can see 5 in 20 minutes against Liverpool as well. I think I think it is the attacking football. I think it's the first time we've seen attacking football since Poch, like front foot attacking
4
football.
years, 5 years.
With a cam.
4 years. 4 years, Tommy. The thing is, though, Tommy, right?
With a decent cam as well, because we played 4 at the back under Mourinho, but we had Ndombele or Lo Celso. Maddison's made a huge difference. That signing alone's made a massive, massive difference.
Yeah, but you tell me another club that played for 3 years without a creative midfielder, right? I mean, we were so predictable. Everything came down the flanks. Nothing came through the middle. Look, the thing is, right, he's come to the club. Conte, every time Conte spoke, it was like, I felt like he was doing us a favour, you know?
Yep.
It was never his fault, right? Everything was someone else's fault. Look, I've got shit players, right? My players aren't good enough, right? You know, it's going to take me 3 or 4 transfer windows. It was never anything to do with him. He was doing us a favour. And then rocks up this guy who I didn't want. I was an on Slot man, right? I wanted Slot. And he's come in, and the first time he speaks, I'm thinking, you know what? I actually like the cut of his jib. I like the way he's talking.
Down to earth.
I need to hear more. The thing is, I would say the belief inside that stadium at 85 minutes, even when we were 1-0 down, would never have been this time last season. Majority of the fans would already be leaving. There was a belief, not just with the players, but with the fans. I heard people around me, apart from the idiot, right, who left, saying, we're going to do it. I feel like we're going to do it. I really believe we're going to do it. The players gave off the energy that they were going to do it. The fans gave off the energy they thought they were going to do it. And there is a genuine belief. And the camaraderie it's just a massive turnaround. But in fairness to Conte, I'll say one thing, and I said this before, I was never a Conte fan, right? But Conte had a group of progressive players who he was trying to play in a pragmatic style, and they just didn't really buy into it. And I think the advantage that Big Ange has got, I know he's got he's got transfers that come in and players that have really lifted the team and the squad, but these players that were already there were so ready to embrace, progressive football and attacking football. He won them over very, very quickly. And little things, like I'm sure you've all spoken about it on your streams, giving 3 captains, right? Having Son as the captain, Maddison as the vice captain in the middle of the park, and Cuti Romero at the back. Seeing Cuti Romero suddenly being responsible at Burnley, trying to calm everyone down, pulling Emerson Royal away from a
Johnny, should you have to? This is a big question. Should you have to? Do you have to be given a captain's armband or a vice captain's armband to do that?
I think
my old managers always say there's 11 captains on the field. 11 captains on the field.
I hear that.
Tommy, it's not giving them the captaincy. It's what he's told them when he's given it to them. It's what he said to them when he gave it to them. Why he's made them captain that's given them the lift.
But doesn't that do a disservice to Romero? He needs to be told to be a leader.
Well, if he needs that to kick up the backside,
what were you like in your 20s?
Enough.
What were you like in your 20s?
Tommy, in your job, if you're just a sales assistant, okay, you're just a sales assistant, and they say to you, right, you're a sales assistant, but I want you to do all the assistant manager's jobs. Are you going to do it? No more pay, no increase, fuckload more responsibility for nothing.
I get what you're saying, but I get what you're saying. Did you get a pay increase?
Well, that we don't know, but you can't say when you get given that, getting the captaincy, yes, there should be 11 captains. Every single man should go out there and fight for the badge, no matter what club you're playing for. But when you're given the captaincy or vice captaincy, there's extra responsibilities that come with that. It's not just on the pitch. You have a lot more say on what's going on off the pitch.
I think that's what it is. In football terms, you're limited. I mean, what does a captain do? He chooses sides at the start of the game, really. He gets the option to choose sides at the start of the game if he wins.
He wants them to lead, though, Tom. Sorry, I was just going to say, he wants them to lead.
It's off the pitch, isn't it? It's off the pitch. You're the face of the club.
Tommy, I've got to tell you, right, when I saw him at Burnley, when we conceded that early goal, right, and he's going, calm down, and he calls Van de Ven over, he calls Destiny over, and he says to them, calm down, concentrate, and he's like this with eyes. He wasn't doing that last season. He wasn't interested. No one was playing for the badge last season. Whatever the reason, whether he didn't like Conte or whatever, I'm seeing a different guy, right? A different guy. He's raised his game to the player that we signed from Italy.
Conte had already lost that dressing room before halfway through the season.
Correct.
Once you lose the dressing room, game over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Postecoglou, he's won the dressing room already, and he's won, I'd say, 80% of the fans already. There's always going to be those ones that you just can't keep them happy. Some people want a cup of tea, not a cup of coffee, but you can't win them all. But this is what I mean. He's playing the football they want to play. He's got the dressing room on his side. He's got the fans on his side at the moment. In that aspect, again, I think he had the relatively easy job, as all he had to do was play the way they wanted to play and play the way we wanted to play. With Romero, I was very sceptical of getting Van de Ven with him because I've always had the attitude with Romero that he needs a daddy next to him to slap him round the head and tell him to get his act together.
It's the opposite.
Exactly. That's how I've always seen him with Argentina. So I was a bit sceptical of getting Van de Ven with him because I'm thinking how these two boys going to basically work together when one can't control himself, one's new on the scene and whatever. And I was very sceptical of them two working.
He's had him round for dinner, Dan, right? Cuti had Mickey round for dinner, meet the wife, start bonding. No, I'm just saying to bond.
Either way, whatever it's done, if it's Romero needed that vice captaincy to feel like he's got whatever it makes him feel and whatever, but to actually make him focus on the pitch a bit more, then bloody give it to him. Simple as that. If that's all he needed, then that's all he needed.
I think one of the best things to see. I think one of the best things to see is one of his biggest weaknesses was his over rash, aggressive challenge.
He's been keeping his cool.
And I don't think he's got a yellow card yet, has he? I don't think he's even
No,
got
but the
He
one.
got a yellow card on Saturday.
Oh, of course, yeah, he got one, but 1 in 5 games he didn't play Fulham, did he? He didn't play against Fulham.
Where's he usually got a yellow card a game?
Did you see the tackle on Cameron Archer? Right in the first half, it was so powerful. Right, I heard it. I'm on level 3. Right, I heard the tackle. Right,
John, but do you know what, Johnny? I don't want to always play devil's advocate, but that was one of his biggest problems. Because for me, that's how he got injured a lot, because he goes in too hard.
He always will.
Yeah,
he always will.
Tommy, there's a flip side to that, right? The fact of the matter is, Cameron Archer, who had a fantastic game against Everton, was nowhere after that, right? He had him in his pocket. He staked his claim for that ball, and he was on him. He was going nowhere.
I agree, and that's what makes Romero stand out from probably any other centre back in the world. I don't think you can put Romero in the top centre backs after 5 games. No way. But that is without a doubt his best trait. He's the best at it. Intimidating.
He's old school.
Strikers. They're going to think about their first and second touch. Their first touch, they're already thinking, where's Romero? Where's Romero? And that is definitely
Dan, can I say, there's one thing I agree with Dan, where he says Ange's had it a bit easy. Okay. When you look at the team we've got, Mourinho and Conte wanted certain areas reinforced, okay? They were given like Reggie, Cess, and Ben Davies. Ange gets Udogie, who is head and shoulders above all of them. They wanted centre backs. They got Longley and Rodon. Ange gets Mickey. They wanted an attacking mid. Maybe Conte didn't. Mourinho did. There was no replacement for Eriksen. They had to do with Mora. And Conte, then you look at the goalie. Maddison. They wanted an upgrade on the goalie. Fraser Forrester. He gets Vicario. If you look at the upgrades that Ange has been handed, listen, the guy's been blessed with some good signings. What I will say, though, to counter that as well, because I want to remain balanced, Ange had to turn Bissouma around, which he has, and he lost the best player at the club in Kane. So, I'm going to be balanced with it, but he's inherited some good players that have come in. I wonder what would have happened if Conte had those 4 players as well, but it doesn't matter. Ange's here now.
With Conte's style of play, it wouldn't have. Yeah, but with Conte's style of play, it didn't work.
Yeah, well, he had one good game against Milan, and then he got dropped consistently for Ollie Skip.
Conte's biggest problem.
Fair play.
We call him a world-class manager, but Conte's biggest problem is, right, this is how we play football and we do it my way. If you're a world-class manager and you haven't got the players to play your style, you've got to try and adapt your style to work around their style to make the best of what you've got.
Not really. Klopp doesn't adapt. You give them the players they want and they deliver success. They don't.
Yeah, but if you're world class, you adapt to what you have got.
Klopp has never adapted from Gegenpress.
After 12 games, Conte took over from Nuno 10th, and we got into the Champions League for the first time in 3 years. And then after he got sacked, we went from 4th to 8th. So Conte's always been by the numbers, man. He stayed there for 2 years, and he's a serial winner. One of the biggest winners in the last 10 years. 4 Serie A's with Juventus.
Did we win 4th, Tommy, or did Arsenal lose 4th?
Arsenal
he won the first Scudetto with Inter Milan in 10 years. He won the last Premier League title with Chelsea 7 years ago. In his 2 years at Chelsea, he got into the FA Cup final twice. Won the FA Cup. Conte is a serial winner.
Yeah, but also, Tommy, look at Chelsea.
You have to question the transfers that were brought in.
Tommy,
Jed Spence and Clement Longley were an absolute embarrassment.
Emerson Royal. He was stuck with Davis, Dyer, and Romero.
Tommy,
but Conte did himself no favors as well, though. With the way he was in the media, he opened up the door of hate on him as well, though. 100%. That
Tommy, I'm going to say to you, mate.
He had to go at the end of the season. He had to go. It was inevitable. I agree with that.
History is just that, mate. History, right? Okay. Football has something called evolution. In everything we do in life, our phones evolve, our iPads evolve, everything, technology evolves, right? It improves, it changes, right? Conte's style of football is dead, in my opinion. It's my opinion. It might not be right, but football has moved on. You have to change with the times, right?
Yes.
And like Dan said,
Ferguson did
my
it.
football. This is my football. But Antonio, right? You haven't got the players for that. I don't care. This is what I play. This is my.
That is what I'm saying.
I ain't changing.
No,
I ain't
Tommy,
changing.
Tommy,
Right?
let me
Hang
put
on.
it another way to you. Yeah, let me put it another way to you.
We shouldn't have hired him. Then.
When Antonio Conte took over Chelsea, he played a different formation. Then they got thumped by the filth, and he said, "You know what? I've got the players to play my old way. I'm going to play my old way." And they went to win the league, and they romped it because he had the players.
Yeah, I remember
Whereas
that.
at Tottenham Hotspur, he didn't have the players to play that formation. He had people like Basuma and Sarr and others that he could play by changing the formation,
But he didn't want to.
decided to be stubborn. So
Exactly.
he showed flexibility at Chelsea. No, I'm just saying, not putting this all on Conte because I liked him. I wanted Conte there.
I was just going to ask you. I was going to ask you what formation do you play with Eric Dyer, Ben Davies, Sessegnon, Aurier, Højbjerg? What do you do? Do you go Hugo Lloris, who's dropping claims?
Mate, I'm with you with that part. But if one thing isn't working, he shows that he can change it.
Yeah, Stellini came in, changed the formation.
That was Stellini.
And he goes and puts
but then Mason came in. Mason came in, went more attacking, we ended up 8th.
Antonio Conte holds some clout. Antonio Conte would have been able to do things. If Conte had changed it, would I have had more faith that Conte could have turned it around and got players playing in the right way? Yes. When it's Stellini and Ryan Mason, still I'd put you in charge.
I can't coach. So I think with Conte, what happened was, whatever agreements were made between him, Levy, Paratici, the board, right? Somewhere along that communication, it changed, and I don't believe they had a proper conversation because this guy came in 24 hours, right? Don't tell me they thrashed out how it's going to work for the next 3 years, and they just agreed how he's going to get the job.
They spoke to him numerous times. Still, they spoke to him numerous times. You can say it's 24 hours, but they spoke to him numerous times.
Well, then if they were speaking to him, okay, Johnny. Well, then if they were speaking to him behind the current manager's back, that's even more underhanded because you don't do that, in my opinion.
No, but nonetheless, initially they tried. Listen, Levy tried to get him earlier. Right, he had a couple of attempts to get him. Conte wasn't interested, but you know what? I can't listen to.
Well, 1 minute, John. Let me finish my point. Let me finish my point. Right. What I was going to say is this: I believe once Conte in his head realised that he is not going to get the kind of player he wants for his way and his way only, I think he began to check out. He said, "You know what?
I agree with that. I completely agree with.
I don't want to be here anymore."
Well, I can't listen. Can I just?
And I blame that. Wait, Johnny. I blame that on Conte, Paratici, and Levy. Between the three of them, I think they fucked it between the three of them.
Well, I can tell you.
Johnny, let's see what Johnny has to say. Johnny,
can I just say here that I'm not going to go into all the depth of it, right? Because I can't. But I will tell you that Conte was presented players, right?
Maddison.
By Paratici and by Gabonini, right? That we would have accepted right now are sitting there and could collectively are worth probably 150 million, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less, right? Just two of them, right? And he refused both of them, okay? Now,
why would a manager say no to that?
Because it wasn't his style of play.
Million, they weren't the value then, okay? They weren't the value then.
Let me get this right, Johnny. These players he were presented, did he want them? Yes or no?
No.
So then it doesn't matter. If he doesn't want them, then they're not what he wants, right?
You say he doesn't matter, but this is my point, right? Conte is so obstinate and stubborn, right? Look, the same thing is happening now, right? Okay? Gabonini and Paratici present the players to Ange. They show him the players, X amount of players per position that he's looking at, and Ange will make the decision based on those players that he's presented with, right? And he's accepted them, right? Those are the ones he's accepted. These aren't just the only ones that have been presented to him, right? But these are the ones he's chosen out of the ones he's presented. The same was done with Conte, but Conte just went, no, 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 right? Now, what I'm saying is, That's his prerogative. As you say, he's the manager. But you can't then turn around and say, oh, I haven't got the players. You can't be bitching that this is my squad, right?
No, but hold on, that's like saying I'm presented with Sissoko. That's like saying I'm Poch. I'm presented with Sissoko.
I'm not talking about Sissoko though.
No, but I'm talking about players being presented, right? That's what you're saying, being presented with players. I'm presented with a player that I don't necessarily want, but if the alternative is to not have extra bodies that I can pick from, I'm going to say, sign Sissoko because it's better than nothing.
Agree with that.
So therefore, if you're presenting Conte with players that he doesn't want,
I think you're going to take Maddison one way or another. You will take him. Like, even if he doesn't fit, if you're not going to get anything, if you're not going to get anyone, you're going to take him over Winks. For me, you're going to take him over Winks.
All I know is Conte, everywhere he's been, it's always worked. He's come to Spurs, just like not just Conte, Mourinho, Poch, Redknapp, everyone else, and it didn't work again. Something in the system of
Conte, mate. It's Conte. Still,
it was Redknapp, and it was Nuno, and it was Mourinho. Come on, man. It doesn't make sense. There's no sense in it. There's a pattern. There's a pattern.
Still, he turned up to see the kids, right? He said hi, blah blah blah, and then they didn't see him again, right? That isn't what a manager does. That's not what a manager does. But
he's never been an academy. He's never been an academy manager where he brings through the youth. The only young kid he's ever brought through was Bastoni, and they brought him in young anyway. But he's never been that guy.
Listen, I don't care if you're a manager. Pochettino, right, would take time out to look at the under-21s.
Yeah, but that's Pochettino. You know what you're getting when you hire him.
1 second. Well, we're going to move on. We've got to move on from Conte.
Pochettino had a history of doing that at Southampton. Conte doesn't have that history.
We've got to move on. We've got to move on from Conte.
You want a manager to be something he's not.
All I'm saying, Conte
a manager should be a
personally,
manager.
my point of view is he had to go
His
at the end of
manager.
the season. It was after his interview. After his
manager.
Interview, he had to go. He had to go after his interview.
And I agree he had to go. Yeah, we agree. We all agree on that.
I believe a manager that's.
I actually can't believe, Tommy, we're here right now having a fucking chat about Conte. Of all people right now.
Let's move on.
Exactly. That's why I'm going to move on. But personally, just to end with Conte, I did not want Conte to be there. I don't want to see that football. Who wants to see that style of football? I wanted to see front foot football.
Same with the free
at the end of the day, I think you can learn a lot from history. And Conte is not just a winner; he's a serial winner. Who am I going to believe, him or poor transfer window, which has been the case over 46 transfer windows with Spurs? 23 years, 46 transfer windows, 1 Carabao Cup. Am I taking Levy's 46 transfer windows and 1 Carabao Cup over Conte? Every manager has to be culpable. Absolutely, every manager has to be culpable. And I do agree with you, Johnny.
Why did they not want him?
I don't think he cared. I don't think he cared about the Spurs job. Who would care about the Spurs job? Who would care about the Spurs job? I'm going to give him 350 grand a week to a team that never wins anything. Fuck it. I'm not even going to move. I'm not even going to move to England. I'll stay in Italy, take the 350 grand a week.
Why did they not want him in Italy? Why was there a campaign to stop him being the Italian national coach?
He's not liked by players, but he wins.
Why is that?
He's not liked by players, but he wins. He wins everything.
I'm just saying.
I didn't know.
But Tommy, what I'm saying,
in strict fitness regimes. They don't like the fitness regimes, and Conte ripped them apart. He ripped the team apart.
You can't talk to people the way. I'm not even going to go into how he spoke to certain players and certain young players at the club. Right? I'm just saying to you, right, that the world has moved on. Right? There's things that I used to say when I was growing up. In conversations, I can't say anymore, right? I'm sure Stel and Brian will tell you the same. There's things we can't say because they're not right anymore, but they were right when I was growing up. And so we have to approach things in a different manner. Unfortunately, Conte approaches things in the old school way. You have to change. Mourinho tried to change.
One final question, Johnny, before we do move on.
I'm so happy you said, we've got to move on from Conte and then start speaking about Conte.
When Conte gets a new job, and if he wins something, if Conte wins something in his new job, is he old-fashioned? Is that
well, we'll see. Wait till he wins something. We'll see. I am not saying that Antonio Conte was a bad manager. I'm saying times move on, and you have to move with the times. Pep Guardiola has moved with the times. He's constantly evolving his tactics.
He's changed his style of play 3 times.
Exactly. That's what I'm.
Klopp
that's
has
all
done
I'm
it
saying.
twice. Fergie did it every 2 years. But either way, drop it. He's done.
Right, I'm going to calm down. I'm going to calm things down a bit. I actually had this prepared. I was going to put this up within the first 10 minutes. I was going to put this up as the first segment. Usually, I do it in reverse, but I thought I'd change things up a little this week. So, Muppet of the week. This usually at the end of the stream. Muppet of the week. Right. This is how we do this for those who haven't viewed before. We've got 64 people in the chat. We've got 64 people in the chat. So I'm guessing some of you may not have seen this show. If you haven't, please sub. Please make sure you smash a like, hit that notification bell. As I said, this is usually reserved for the end of the stream. But Muppet of the week. I'm going to go in reverse. I'm going to start with Dan. He was in reverse at one stage. You know this segment very well. So, as always, you can choose from one of these Muppets of the Week, or you can nominate your own. So, first, Russell Brand. 4 women came out with sexual assault. He's been cancelled. I'm going to move on quickly from him. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say any more than that. But Daniel Levy, the stadium naming rights, we're going to talk about that in a little more depth, probably soon, I'd say, after this segment. He's an exclusive member of Muppet of the Week and has been since we started this. Every week he's here. And finally, there had to be an Arsenal guy. North London Derby Sunday, Paul Merson. This week, he backpedaled. Before the season started, pre-season, he said, we're finishing in the bottom half under Ange. He said, we are finishing in the bottom half. Backpedaled, reevaluated. To be fair, he reevaluated and said, do you know what? I think they can get into Europe now. So, Russell Brand, Daniel Levy, or Paul Merson, or one of your own, Dan?
No, I'll go for one of my own. What I'm going to go for is the Sheffield manager. He had the audacity to go on after the game and then complain about the extra time. Yet he was the one telling his players to waste every penny, every second they could. Basically, with that game, we deserve to lose 90 minutes where we wasted chances. We deserve to win it in 12 minutes where they wasted so much time. And the fact that he was on there complaining about the added on time when it was him telling his players, drag it on, basically. I think he made himself look like an idiot. That's my Muppet of the Week.
Chef Paul Heckingbottom gets. It's very rarely the ones that I put up that gets Muppet of the Week. It seems that we nominate our own. But Stel, Muppet of the Week, any of these, or you got one of your own?
I've got one of my own, but Daniel Levy's Muppet of the Week every week. I'm going to go with Rory Jennings, the absolute pleb of a Chelsea fan that's somehow been given a career on Talk Sport and YouTube. Everyone is praising and being positive or just showing some kind of respect for what Spurs have done. Forget the fact that Ange has won Manager of the Month, and it wasn't a curse because we went and won the next game after he got the award. Forget the fact that Maddison is Player of the Month, and every fan now is saying he looks like he's the signing of the season for 30 million, if you include the 10 million pounds from the Winks deal for the deal going either way. Forget the fact that everyone's just saying good things about us. He still had to go and talk sport for 8 minutes and just shit on us. Do you know what? He's beyond the Muppet. He's so bitter, sour, anti-Spurs. Without being rude, and go fuck himself. Rory Jennings.
One for Rory Jennings. One for Paul Heckingbottom. I wasn't expecting that. I was thinking I definitely missed one out in the referee. I definitely missed one out in the referee.
Literally, I went on YouTube. I always like to look at the short clips because I like what Simon Jordan says sometimes. I like what some of the footballers have to say. And it's good debate sometimes, all right? Not always. He got an 8-minute rant and it was just on Spurs. I'm like, fuck off, man. Like, really? You're the only fan doing that. So, yeah, anyway, it just wound me up.
So before I ask Daigle, I have to put this up. I mean, he should. There's always 3 Muppets, but this. I mean, that hairline.
Mate, the referee was also the referee.
For the hairline. Just shave it off, man.
The refereeing was almost as bad as his hairline.
Oh, that referee was shocking. That referee was shocking.
One of the worst ever. He should be suspended for at least a couple of months.
That was shocking. At least
there could have been a lot of nominations this week. There could have been a hell of a lot of nominations this week. That's for sure.
Yeah, he actually lost
a tough one. It was a tough one.
Yeah,
he lost his mark.
Brian, who's your Muppet?
Yeah, can you just put the graphic back up? You asked a stupid question, you get a funny answer. I'm starting with the man in the middle. Yeah. It's always prick. It's always this prick. You can't. I've always said there's never an answer to a question where Daniel Levy is the centre of it, where I won't bring attention to him. He is a Muppet of the week, the day, the month, the second, the hour, the year, everything. I don't like this man very much. And whilst he is the owner of Tottenham Hotspur, he is Muppet of the week. He is schmuck of the week. He is prick of the week. He is the cock of the week. He's the pussy of the week. He's pretty much everything of the week. So there's your answer.
So Levy, Heckingbottom, Rory chap. Johnny?
Can I be greedy? I'd like to have two. Right, the first one. Right,
no, you can mention two, but you can't have two. You have to pick one.
First of all, I'm going to mention Jack Lovell, right, Arsenal fan, right. Sheffield United doing Spurs in their own back garden, and they thought they were back with bloody Ange ball. Tottenham Hotspur, the gift that keeps on giving. That was 88th minute, right?
Yeah.
That was looking good, Brev, right? That was where is he? There he is, with a picture of what's name celebrating. And the other one was the Tottenham fan who should remain nameless, who basically turned around and said, 88 minutes, 1-0 down. He brings on 80 minutes and he brings on Richarlison. I give up. Right. So they're my two Muppets of the week because both of them were wrong. Both.
It doesn't matter that you got two because I'm not choosing that. I've got vote. I've got the winning vote. This is all my channel.
Sorry, Tommy. What, Johnny? What was that guy you mentioned? The Arsenal fan called?
I think his name is.
Did you say Joe Lovett or something like that?
Oh, Joe Lovett? Did I say?
I've never heard of.
Hang on, 1 second. 1 second. Hang on.
What's his Twitter handle?
Just for while you look at that,
AFC Jack Vids. AFC Jack Vids. Here, look.
Oh, Jack, you've done it now. You've done it now.
Yeah, I found him.
I wonder what Stell's doing after this stream. I wonder.
Doing it right now. I'm doing it right now.
It's quite funny because the other guy, I go, what a great call to the Spurs fan. One of the great calls of the season to the Spurs fan, joking, tongue in cheek. But yeah, the referee's got to be the mug of the week, really, overall, isn't he?
He was bad.
Muppet of the week's Levy. Muppet of the week's Levy for me. He wins Muppet of the week most weeks, to be fair. People that haven't seen this before. But the stadium naming rights. Do you know what? If he didn't have the stadium naming rights situation, he might not have even been part of the Muppet of the week because there were so many nominations. For the first time in 12 months since I started this Muppet of the week thing. But no, stadium naming rights. We're going to get onto it shortly.
But Russell Brand.
This was going to be the next comment. Oh,
Russell
mate.
Brand, unfortunately, she's claiming that Russell Brand, she was alone in a room with Russell Brand and he never touched her.
Don't get me started.
Don't even go there.
Don't get me started on that woman. Don't get me started.
You'll get us shut down. You'll get us shut down.
Yeah.
Do not get me started.
Don't even go there.
Right. So beating the bottoms. I'm hearing, do you know what I'm hearing in this show today? I don't even have to play devil's advocate here. A lot of Levy out was here, but I didn't. I just said Johnny's not so much. But this is 5 games into the season. We haven't beat a team in the top 10. It's got to be said. I mean, what can we say? I mean, top 10. Let's get rid of the rolling banner, and I can show you the entire top 10.
Okay, but Tommy, if someone said to you,
the only team in the top 10, David.
If someone had said to you, let me ask you a question. Before a ball was kicked, if someone had told you that Spurs from these games, even some of the weaker teams, we'd have 13 points from 15, would you take it?
Absolutely.
You wouldn't have gone, no, you wouldn't have gone, no, fuck it, I want 15. We need 15 from these teams. Come on, yes, we you have to beat who's in front of you. 13 points from 15 is a billion times better than any one of us would have thought we would have had. A billion times.
Who have Arsenal? 1 minute. Who have Arsenal? Who's Arsenal beating in the top 10?
Hold on.
Who's Arsenal beating in the top 10?
Let me answer. Of course, it's horses for courses, but at the same time, I don't have to be convinced that Ange is going to be a magnificent manager because of it. Because if you're trying to convince me that Ange, I'm saying, are we a little bit too ahead of ourselves when we're saying Ange is going to be an unbelievable manager? Mate,
are you convinced a guy that's had the football? We've had 3 managers since Poch, not including caretaker managers, that have come in and haven't been able to get a fucking tune out of half of them. All right, he's got new players. He has come in and changed the entire mentality on the pitch, off the pitch with the fan base. What he has achieved in 100 days is what should be convincing people. The way he handles himself, the way he's spoken, the way he, like Johnny says, wanted to be at the club. But he's not, oh, I'm here because I could get a job and it's all about me, me, me. He has come here and done things at this football club that no manager, Poch, no one in our lifetime has been able to do in 100 days. Forget the results. The results are fantastic. Look what he's done off the pitch. Look how the players are enjoying training.
Yeah.
Look how the players.
If we lost to two of the teams, say we lost to Bournemouth and Burnley, do you think the reaction would be anywhere near the same?
But we didn't.
Yeah, but we didn't.
We didn't. But at the same time,
God, how can you say that?
I don't have to be convinced. I don't have to be convinced because of the 5 games. What I'm saying is, I'm not convinced that this means we're going to have an unbelievable season.
How many times have we gone to Burnley, Tommy, and lost? Right,
Tom.
I'll get you in, but
That's like saying if you went outside in the rain and you forgot your umbrella, how would you feel? It didn't rain.
But I've been cursed. I've been hit so many times before. Under Nuno, we won our first 3 games, including Man City. We won our first 3 games, including Man City. He won Manager of the Month. First 3 games.
Tommy,
oh my God.
10 games later. 10 games later, he was gone.
But that's why we got to be. That's why we got to be calm. That's why we just
10 games later, he was given a job.
Enjoy the moment and see what happens, isn't it? We can't
course,
get carried away. Fans saying we might win the league, stuff like that's crazy.
That's pathetic. That's pathetic.
Stuff like that's crazy.
I'm not reactionary after beating. There's 3 teams that are probably 2 of them are going to get relegated. Bournemouth, Burnley, and
Tommy.
How's
Tommy,
you're
not listening to your manager, Tommy. Your manager turned around to you and says, get excited, get carried away. Don't hold yourself back. Enjoy it for the moment until the bubble bursts. He's not going to burst. When it happens, it happens. You're waiting for it to happen to say, I told you.
When it happens, we go Levy out.
Not at all. We've beat the 3 teams that we've beat, 4 teams. I've got to look at. I'm looking at it from a football perspective. I'm not looking at Leave It. I'm looking at the teams we've played as well, Johnny. Look at the strikers we've played against. Come on now. Look at the strikers we've played against. Solanke, Rashford, who has 1 good game, 1 good season every 5. Munoz at Fulham when they beat us. Foster, Lyle Foster from Burnley. McBurney from Sheffield United. They're the number 9s we've come up against. My biggest criticism wasn't our attack. It hasn't been for the last 2 or 3 years. It's the defence. Defence hasn't been tested yet against those number 9s as far as I'm concerned.
Totally agree.
That's why I'm not being reactionary. I'm just not being reactionary. I think a lot of Spurs fans are far too reactionary after a couple of wins.
No, but why can't you enjoy it?
It's fantastic that we're unbeaten. I'm not going to be reactionary under this regime.
You're not. You don't have to be reactionary to enjoy it. I was in the stadium.
I do enjoy it. I'm enjoying it, but I don't have to say we're going to get into the top 4 because of it. I don't.
No one is.
I'm just saying, enjoy the ride.
I am.
That's the top.
I'm saying I'll be going a little bit too over the top. Like my original question.
A little bit. Yes, a little bit. A little bit.
Tommy, I've said top 6 all along. If we beat Liverpool and Arsenal, if we beat them both, then you've got to start thinking, okay, there could be something here, and maybe go, okay, top 5, maybe top 4. We were all every Spurs fan at the beginning was told, "Don't worry, this will be a bumpy ride. It's gonna start shocking, like it did at Celtic, and it's gonna start shocking, but then it will come, just like it did with Poch." We have been starved of good football and a decent run of results for 3 years, non-stop shit football, unpredictable results, and the most. Mate, I've fallen asleep. Still remember when we were Tottenham away when we had during lockdown. We had to do review of the games, and people said to me, "What do you think of the game?" I was like, "I don't know. I fell asleep." For a lot of them, so I literally was getting so bored of it. Now this guy's come in. We're undefeated. We were going into an NLD where probably for the first time in ages, Levy out. Oh, here he is. This guy you need to block. This guy is known for going around and talking absolute waffle. Levy out is not in the mud, but thanks for stopping by with your stupid name. But getting back to things, we have to enjoy this. when you've been starved of something for ages and ages and ages, and then you get a crumb, you have to take it and feast on it because you don't know when it's going. Everything right now is going in the right direction on the pitch. On the pitch. Enjoy the ride, man. I'm not saying Ange Postecoglou we're going to win the league.
I'm very much enjoying it. I'm not depressed. I'm very happy. But I refuse to be reactionary under this regime.
What is reactionary, though? Explain to me. Reactionary, getting carried away, I can understand. Reactionary is
saying because we're unbeaten in the first 5 games against 3 teams that could easily get relegated.
Staying calm, not
against 3 teams that could easily get relegated and then losing to Fulham and going out of the Carabao Cup. I'm not completely sold. That's just my way of thinking. I'm just not completely sold. Because down the line, we're going to have to come up against the big boys. We haven't played against any of the top 10. Down the line, we're going to get injuries. How does it hold up then?
But you're predicting the obvious, Tommy.
Wait, one second, Johnny. One second. Arnold, I'm going to give you this little bit of attention that you crave, and I'm going to call you out. Feel free to come on my show tomorrow. Send me an email. Send me anything. I'll give you the link. Come on and have a conversation with me. I don't block people, mate. I block people, like certain people that have been anti-Semitic to me, have gone on about my addictions or my mental health. Anyone who wants to talk football, I don't block. But you want to run your goddamn mouth, come on Tottenham on tour. Open invite. Reveal yourself.
There's no need for it. As soon as people start getting personal.
They're pricks.
As soon as
Come
people
on.
start getting personal, I believe on all social media. As soon as the football side of things take a back seat and we start getting personal, you've lost the battle already. You've lost that battle. You've lost the debate, as far as I'm concerned. Should never get to that stage. And if it does, Tommy, I don't know this person. But if it has gone to that level, then you should be ashamed of yourself. It's as simple as that.
The issue is here, right? The issue is here. You get these accounts on social media. This is why I haven't reacted to him, right? Because I knew he'd shoot himself in the foot. He just puts a comment now saying, "Never once have I ever said anything about your background," right? Yet the first comment he makes when he comes on at 8:56 is to call us pillocks. So
yeah, but not just that. I didn't even say.
Brian, this is why I'm laughing. Like, he's obviously a kid. He's a virgin. He's just discovered his willy. Let him have his fun.
I didn't even say that you said it. I said I block people that get.
Don't diss the people with the V plates. Don't diss the people that still got their V plates.
Like I said, send me a message. Right. I'll ping you over the link for tomorrow. Feel free to come and talk to me.
He's not going to come.
No, you've got an open invite, mate. Open invite. Come on, flap your gums, and let's see what you're made of. Rather than paying a fake, stupid name, trying to act the big man.
Someone comes on the show, right, Brian? When anyone that comes on a show and their opening line is to just call someone's name and say dickhead, pillock, prick. If that's how you start, I just switch off, man. I'm like,
oh, mate, he's more than welcome to come on, flap his gums.
Yeah, box office just came on and said Johnny's talking the usual crap. Come up on the box and let's hear what you've got to say, mate.
Think of Alex though. He'll come on the show with the camera. Alex will come on the show.
Alex only comes on when Perchy's on. As soon as Perchy's on, he's like, "Give me the link. I'm coming on." That's it. He's got a problem with Sava and Perchy.
I don't have a problem with Alex. Alex just likes to tell me I'm talking shit.
All the same, we love Alex. We love Alex, and as long
as I look forward to your message, Arnold. I look forward to reaching out to me, saying you come on the show. I look forward to it, mate.
On a positive note, Tommy. On a positive note, the under-21s are again smashing it. 4-0 up. 2 goals for Donnelly, 1 goal for Sosok Bell, and 1 goal for Lancashire. This under-21 group are on another level.
I think Veliz was on the bench, wasn't he? Did Veliz come on?
I'm not sure if he's come on.
Tommy, you know when you say, like, are we all getting a bit carried away, right? I think part of it is
I know we're getting carried away. I know we're getting carried away.
Here's my view. Here's my view on it, right? Part of it is just relief.
Of course.
I agree.
It's not the same old, right? I think another part of it as well is that we're actually genuinely excited by some of the players we're watching at the moment. Fair enough, they haven't come up against amazing opposition, but Vicario, Basuma, Maddison, Romero, Udogie. It's not. We're enjoying them being in the squad. We enjoy their performances. Okay, so I think fans are just like it's like I said earlier. I just feel that what's happening at the moment at Spurs is a case of yes, we've got that Poch vibe back. Where we go with this and what the board does with it and what Ange does with it, we're going to have to wait 2-3 years down the line. If he's still here in 3 years, that will be. Then we'll know, because I think we're going to need 2-3 years.
Forget 2 or 3 years down the line. This is not about me. This is about the Spurs fan base. We should stick with Ange whatever this season. We should stick with Ange whatever this season. But
we know how things can change though, Tommy. Two injuries and we could be in crisis though. And how does
two injuries? One injury, and we are screwed. One injury and we are in trouble. This is how tight it is at the moment.
If we lose a centre back, if we lose a centre back, we're weak at the back.
I'm with Tom 100% on this. So far, so good is what I will say, and I can't claim nothing else because you can only claim against who you've played against. So far, so good. But we have not come up against a decent defence yet, and our decent attack, sorry. Our defence hasn't even really been questioned on, I'd say, 90% of the shows I've been on. Why? Because we've won the games. Now, I've seen that defence
because we keep possession.
Let me finish. No, it is not.
Sorry, mate.
I have seen that defence get opened up many a time, and we have been bloody lucky so far against Man U. We should have been down 2-0 at half time. I mean, that head was harder to miss than it was to bloody score, and he screwed it up. There was another 2 attempts on there that they should have scored in. We have had luck on our side, and it's going to go.
We hit the post twice in that game as well.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that defence has been opened up a couple of times by the smaller teams. It just hasn't really got spoke about or noticed as much because we went and won the games. We went and won 5-2. Those 2 goals we conceded, they should never have happened, but no one cares because we scored 5. I'm agreeing so far, so good, but I'm now very wary of now we're coming up against the big boys now. We are now coming up against Arsenal and we are coming up against Liverpool. Once I see those games, and then once I see us into 10, 15 games of the season, I will then start making my decision on how far I reckon we can go this season. I've seen too many Spurs supporters sit here like, we can go for the title now. Yep, we're smashing it. We're killing it. We're doing it. That is what I'm saying. But if you watch half of the pages on here, I'm sure you can all make me right on this. How many people have sat here and preached on here like we're going to smash it? We can get top 2. We can fight them for the title.
I've not said. I've never said that.
So after we beat,
I didn't say you had.
I was streaming, so I'm very well aware of this. I was streaming 5 times a week back then as well because it was COVID. After we beat Man City, we were winning the title. We weren't just in the title change under Nuno. We were winning the title. I can assure you, the majority of people. I'm not saying you guys were guilty of it. I'm not saying you guys.
No, but I saw a lot of people do it. I saw a lot of people do it, and I've seen a lot of people debate on it as well. All right, quick question, Tom. Mr. Box Office wants to come on. Shall I send him the link?
Send him the link. Get him on. I think Stell's got a link soon anyway. I think Stell's going on another show, so it'd just be a sub for sub.
Can I just say?
There you go, Alex. There's the link sent to you, mate.
Can I just say, Tommy, right? For me, it's like having a shit girlfriend, right? For 3 years. All she does is give you a headache and misery, makes you feel miserable, never makes you feel happy. And you finish, and along comes another bird that gives you everything you never had before. Leaves you with a smile on your face every day, right? You're going to get carried away. You're going to enjoy it. But you're always going to be worried that tomorrow it could all end. So you enjoy the moment,
yes,
but you're careful as you go forward. You know that there's a likelihood there's going to be a bump along the road. And all I'm saying is I'm not predicting anything. All I'm doing is enjoying the ride. What I can tell you is
I agree.
I went to that Man United game having suffered the shit that I've had to watch for the last season. I went to that Man United game and people I sat with were still in the ground cheering 10 minutes after the game. I went with Brian to Burnley, okay? I've never been to an away game where the fans were singing all the way through the game, non-stop. The atmosphere was absolutely electric. And then Sheffield United, okay? Those 3 games gave me more enjoyment and more pleasure than I've had probably in the last 3 years, really, on the whole. Right?
Yeah.
So It's
so far
easy
so
for-
good, isn't it?
Yeah, that's all it is. It's so
But
far.
the point I'm saying is, I've seen many of pages, and John, you've been on a few of them where there's been someone else on there going on about we can run Man City all the way here. We can do this. We can do that.
Ridiculous.
I just think a few people need to calm down from what
Agreed.
I've seen.
But
so
what
far,
we'll say is,
so
look,
good.
what we'll say, I don't look. I've always said things how I feel. Always said things how I feel. In this stream, people talking about bringing Poch's name up already, and I'm like, that's where we're over the top. That's where we're getting over to. When you start bringing Poch's name into it, he could be the best. Let's wait a little bit of time. And when I say I'm not reactionary, if we lose the next 2 games, I'm not going to go at Ange. It's still far too early. If we get spanked 2 or 3-0 in the next 2 games, I'm not going to say sack Ange. I'm going to still be the same mindset. It's still very, very early days. We don't know what's going to happen here. When we lost to Fulham, I was the one man in the group chats I'm in Twitter that stuck up for Ange. I was like, we need to see what these players are made of. We're going to get injuries in the future. His ambition, the mindset of Levy is not to win the Carabao Cup. We know that because he sacked a manager a week before. It will be to get as higher place finish as possible. So after that game, I wasn't reactionary. I didn't say Ange made terrible mistakes. You know, he had to make them decisions for me. We have to see how those players play. So I'm just, overall, I try not to be too reactionary. But of course, we should enjoy ourselves. I love the way the 3 centre mid quartet are going. Basuma, Maddison and Sarr, amazing. And we've got strength and depth in there as well, which is fantastic. But
mate, wait when Bentancur comes back into this team. Wait when Bentancur comes back.
Yeah, he's got ACL though, hasn't he? It's very difficult.
Guys, on a positive note, we're beating Colchester 5-0. Our under-21s,
that's wicked.
Bunch of kids playing the men, right, in the cup tonight.
It will be amazing. I tell you what, Ange gets bonus points. All before the season started, he gets bonus points because he's never named Dyer in the starting 11. He only put him on the bench because Sanchez was sold last game. That just gives you bonus points. So I don't think many other managers would do that. Many other managers just give in and say, look, he's been around the players. The players love him. I'll put him in the team. I'll start him anyway. So that's bonus points for Ange. Just early days, very early days. Box office, you've been listening intently. In the chat, you had a bit to say. What do you want to say, man?
The problem is that Mr. Box Office, Alex gets on my nerves sometimes. So he's been trying to put me in detention. But unfortunately, when a bomb needs to go off, it does need to go off sometimes. And unfortunately, that's the problem. I have to listen to deluded Tottenham fans that are in dreamland at the moment, and that's it. This is again not having a go at my boy Brian.
On the panel, Alex, put your money where your mouth is. Who are the
well, it's not having a go at Brian because to be honest with you, Brian's my boy, and I'm not going to have a go at him. You know what I mean?
What the fuck are the rest of us? What are we?
Well, you know what I mean. It's just like, but Johnny, to be honest, I can't even have a go at Johnny. To be honest with you, because he, you know what I mean. I've already had a go at him about the class of '92. Class of '92 youngsters, isn't it? I'm sorry, we ain't popped
yet. Winning 5-0 tonight, Alex.
We're not popped yet, though, bruv. It's like, listen, okay. I like the football. I love the football. I'll be a hypocrite if I wasn't saying I wasn't loving the football. I actually like when I go to games. I'm so relaxed. I'm really relaxed, and it's down to Postecoglou, yes. But again, we have to look at the long-term view on this. You know what I mean? This could be a manager bounce. It could be a manager bounce. You know what I mean? You know, I mean, I think the theory is about the whole thing about you know, Kane going and we're playing well. I said that we need to let him go, and we're playing better. You know, I like the team. I like Maddison. I love Basuma. I love Basuma. Son playing up front works for me, but Richarlison did okay. He's still not great because he's not going to be great for me. I think the Garcine is there for him when other players will be up there. And defense for me, when you attack, the attacking is a good sign of defense. But again, I mean, even if we beat Arsenal, which we could beat Arsenal, we could get a draw out of Arsenal. Even if we get a draw out of Liverpool or get a win, it's still too soon. It's way too soon because, as far as I'm concerned, when you take somebody out that team, what have you got? You get what I'm saying, And I think playing this system uses a lot of energy.
Too soon for what? Too soon for what?
Well, it's too soon to start making predictions at the moment for me. You know what I mean?
Alex, you saying there, Ty, that Alex, sorry, just to clarify here, are you saying, because I had this conversation with someone who's in football on Sunday, that our running stats are very impressive. right? I think these running stats are sustainable when you're playing one game a week, right? At the moment, would these running stats and this intensity be sustainable when you're playing your Champions League or Europa League? I think this season might give us a false reading about what is achievable when we start playing European football. Is that what you're sort of getting at? That we could
I think so, but also I think it's just, I think when you're winning, you've got lots of energy anyway. You get what I'm saying? So when you're losing, this is the thing. When you're losing, this is when we can see whether this team is really really good enough. You see what I'm saying? But again, I'm not having a go at it. It's just that because I just think it's just way too soon at the moment. There will be a downturn. Whether it will become this season, I don't know at the moment. But there's a bit of an upward trajectory at the moment because we're playing really well at the moment. And to be fair, and this I'll give it to you, Stelios. So you made a very good point. When we got that goal, that second goal, Postecoglou straight away didn't get too excited. He went straight back to his game mode and started to think about how to keep that lead.
I like that.
To be fair to him, you make a very good point.
That's why.
But again, we just have to see when they have a bad run, and that's it. And I just when there's injuries as well, I've got every confidence he's going to use the most of the squad. But I just think at the moment there's certain players there that are not getting the system at the end of the day. You see what I'm saying? And that's where I think the problems will be, and that's it. And I think also behind the scenes, I don't believe that everyone's all together. I think the only person that's made this look good and making Levy look good at the moment, I don't want to mention him too much, is Postecoglou. That's the reason why he looks good at the moment. Because let's be honest here,
Alex, what do you mean not everyone's all together? I don't understand. Who are you talking about specifically?
I just think behind the scenes at the moment, I think at the end of the day, I think it's working well because of Postecoglou. I don't think it's just because of
when you said not everyone's working, not everyone's all together.
I just don't know if it's really working. I don't know if this triangle or square or whoever's in the behind the scenes. I don't know whether this is.
Oh, you mean boardroom and management level?
And behind the scenes with the youth.
I thought you meant players. I'm like, really?
Youth. With the people that are looking for the players and stuff. I'm not convinced, especially with Paratici, who should be at our club. I'm sorry, I don't care. He got charged and should never be. Should be nowhere near our club. But the point is, I'm saying that I just don't know if it's going to be long term. It's going to work out because when you take somebody out that cog. Can they bring somebody in to carry on the process? I doubt it still because
not in defence they can't. But what you say about Paratici though, I think he gets more stick than he deserves. Now, when it comes to buying a player over a certain amount of money, it just don't ever seem to go right.
Johnny going to keep
no matter who's going to be there, yeah. But Paratici, who he's actually brought in there, he's actually brought in some pretty goddamn solid players. And I don't feel he gets enough credit. Now, I'm not saying that he gets it perfect, but I'd definitely say he gets it, 7 to 3 right, basically. 7 out of 10, he's got them pretty much right. So, looking very good now.
Can I ask you this? Can I just ask you this? Because we've discussed this a lot, but I don't think I've ever asked you this question. In terms of Paratici, do you think he got full control with the transfers under Levy?
I think he had the majority of control, yeah. I think he did. Because all of those players that he got, they're very similar to sort of players that he would go for. And they seem to all come from the area that he knows best. Now, our goalkeeper, are you telling me he wasn't already our second choice keeper? Of course he was. Why? Because Paratici knew how good he was doing in Italy. He knew that Inter Milan wanted him. He knew that other big teams were looking at him. We didn't get the goalkeeper we wanted, so bang, we went and snapped him up because Inter Milan was about to go for him because they was going to sell Onana. Right,
but Paratici. He also signed Galini.
Hang on.
He also signed Galini.
Yeah. Like I said, you don't get them all right, do you? He's got more right than he's got wrong.
Has he?
Well, come on then. Let's name up the good ones he's got. Sarr, Vicario, Udogie, Bentancur, Kulusevski, you can go 50-50 with. Now, if he's still involved with it, as much as everyone says he is, then you've got to put Maddison on him. Basuma. Van der Ven.
Keep going.
Yeah, Van der Ven. Right.
Some Royale, average.
Richie, yes. Richarlison.
Yep.
You haven't lost your money on Emerson, by the way, still, until you've sold him, right?
Now, come on, Johnny.
I don't care about
only named
the money.
me two.
I care about
Don't
whether the
fight
player
this.
elevates
I
the
don't care.
team.
No, I've just named 7, and there's more out there I can name as well. You've named me 2.
I can keep going. You go for me.
I know.
All right, I'll tell you. I'll tell you the flops.
Yeah.
Danjuma.
Yeah.
Fraser Forrester.
Hang on. Still.
He was only a loan for the meantime.
Loan.
Yeah, and it flopped. We ended up 8th with him. Awesome.
We didn't play him.
A loan is a
But
temporary
either way-
signing.
Okay,
we brought him
fine.
in to help the team.
But it's not just a loan. It's not just a loan because he takes up a squad place. So
You can't.
if he takes up a squad place,
Okay,
It has to
but
be
I'm
considered-
accepting to it.
a signing.
All right, Danjuma, Fraser Forrester, Clement Longley, Jed
Fraser
Spence,
Foster.
Has
Richarlison.
Fraser Forster been that
It's
bad?
Fraser Foster.
I think Fraser Forster, he's been all right as a goalkeeper.
He's been
What
bang
more do you
average,
want?
man.
Yeah,
Bang
but
average as a
what
goalie.
do you expect off a sub goalkeeper? They don't usually have a sub goalkeeper.
But he
better than
started
bang average.
games. Like he played the last 8-9 games of last
Yeah,
season.
and when he
Remember that?
started, I felt
He was in
safer
goal
with him
against
in goal
Fulham for
than
the
Lorez.
penalties. Awesome.
Yeah,
Great stuff.
and he was half the reason that we made it to penalties.
Still, can I just?
And
say
then
to
he
you-
cost us.
Still, right? Can I
Yeah.
just tell you something,
I
right?
haven't finished my list. No, I haven't finished my list.
Come on, let him do his
Come on,
list.
so far, what's the list? Danjuma,
I've only
Richarlison.
named
Danjuma,
7.
Foster, Longley, Spence, Richarlison. I'm going to put Brian Gill in there. You lot can debate.
Gill
it.
definitely
I'm
in there.
putting him
Gill and Galini are there. Definitely.
Galini, Chicken Royale, and then I'm going to put 2 players on the basis I just don't know. Right? I just don't know. None of us have seen them. Phillips and Villiers. Maybe they come good. Maybe they don't. So
You
for
can't
me,
name them.
there's about 8 or 9
They're
players
neither
there.
here nor there.
I mean, really.
Right, but
even-
we've
even
signed them.
calling
We
those-
bought them in.
Hang on. How can
Yeah.
still, with the greatest respect, I'm listening to you, right? I've kept quiet.
Yeah.
How can you? It's pointless calling Villiers and Phillips out
Yeah.
as even being on the list, right?
Yeah, they're not
put
even
them
on the
to
list.
a side because you can't.
Yeah.
You can't actually even put.
I
them
just
in
said
there.
I don't know about them. I literally said I
so
don't know
put
about
them
them.
to a side. So there's no even point mentioning.
But
them.
why?
But
They're in the
hang
club
on a
and they're not
second.
playing.
Hang on a second.
But they're at the
Hang
club
on
and
a
they're not
second.
playing.
Hang on a second, right?
We
I'm
signed
listening.
Vicario. He goes straight in
I've
and elevates
listened
the
to
squad.
you. I've listened
Let
to you.
Johnny have a
Stel.
go. Let Johnny have a go.
All right.
Stel, I've listened to you,
We
right?
can't dismiss players that we've signed just because it doesn't suit your agenda. We signed Vicario. He starts immediately and we're better.
Stel, I listened to you, right? Okay.
All right.
What I'd like to say to you is, okay, there's more to it than just the signing of the players, what Paratici has done, okay? When he came in and Steve Hitchin was in that building, right?
Yeah.
He went in there and he couldn't believe what he saw, right? These are facts, right? These aren't thoughts, these are facts, okay? These aren't opinions, these are facts, okay? He's gone in there, Hitchin's
Facts
thrown
based
the
on
wobbly.
whose facts? How are they facts? Don't understand.
Right, okay. They're facts, right? Hitchin left, okay, because he had been undermined, he left, okay? Then Paratici was given the job. The job was far too big for one person, far too big. So he brought in Gabonini, he brought in Scolding, he brought in Steinson, okay? As you know, McDermott left and
I know McDermott. I go to the academy
Right,
every
yeah,
3 months.
he's
I know.
lost, and then what's his name? The guy's been there for 13 years. I keep forgetting his name.
What position? What position is he working?
No, I'm talking about he took over from McDermott.
We had Chris.
Is it Rednick?
Chris
Rednick
Rednick took over.
Yeah, 13 years he's been there, right?
Yeah, but he's crap. He's never got the job.
Right, he's gone, right? So my point is, right, my point here is he's built up, he's put all the people in, right, to build the infrastructure that was not there. The whole club was a complete and utter shitstorm, right? You had Instagram parents, right, and Instagram players in that academy. Paratici has gone in there, he's cleared them all out, right? The directive was to recruit 16 to 19-year-old talents from everywhere, from other clubs. Also, he had to somehow convince Levy, which is what he done this season, which he never did, because McDermott was very much, do not break the wage structure, right? We're not going to pay the kids the money, because what's going to happen is I want those kids to be hungry. What Paratici is saying, look, that might have been the way you operated, but if you want to build up an academy and you've got your players, you have to pay them the money. Hence the reason we broke
This isn't true, by the way. This isn't 100% true.
Right. Okay, fair enough. If you think it's not true, then it's not true. Right?
I've been in that academy enough times to know how it works. And what you're saying isn't 100% true. I don't know who's told you this information, Johnny. This is not 100% true.
Okay, so
the Spurs Academy.
Hang on a second. So why do you think they all signed? Why
Do
you think they all signed in the summer?
Because they wanted
these young players.
No, because the money was better.
Sorry. Who are we talking about? The Liz and Phillips?
No, I'm talking about the kids in the academy. Why do you think they all signed?
In the under-21s, under-18s.
Yeah. What kids? We signed kids from 9 till 21. What kids are you talking about?
I'm talking about the 21s, right? The 19s in the under-21s. Why do you think
we signed them? Because we paid the money for them. We signed them because we paid the money for them.
That's what I'm just saying to you. We just broke our wage structure that's been in place that was there under McDermott.
Yeah, Johnny, what your understanding is the Spurs Academy.
I fully understand it.
I don't think you do, because you haven't mentioned what you've said isn't quite fully correct. The Spurs Academy for a very long time has been under a very strict directive from above, directly from Levy, Gary Broadhurst, McDermott. Many others will confirm it, right? People that work in the academy, they're
McDermott's been gone. McDermott's gone.
Yeah. But all I'm saying to you is, for a long time, the academy's directive was, you have got to generate income through loaning young players or selling them to help us fund the stadium. 25% of the money drawn down for the stadium from Tottenham Hotspur's money came from the academy. The academy were under instruction to generate that income. So as much as we all here as fans and all the people watching, we want our academy to bring through amazing young players. That wasn't the priority coming from Daniel Levy to the academy. I know this from the people that work there, and they delivered. They delivered on the mission that was set to them. Now, since McDermott went, until I'd say only about a year ago, the directive was develop Champions League players. So as much as people cuss Skip and they think he's shit, doesn't matter what we think. Their directive was, can you develop Champions League players? Skip played in the Champions League last season under Conte. So they've met their objective. Now, if the objective has changed because Paratici's got more influence, I don't have an issue with that. But the academy has done what Levy has directed it to do.
Right.
Do you know how,
right.
You know how good Gary
we need to move. Hold on, boys. Hold on. I want to get Daigle in here.
Hang on. We wouldn't have.
I want to get Brian Daigle in here. Daigle in here. The show's not just about 2 people or 3 people. I feel like I've said too much as the host tonight. It's not just about 2 or 3 people. I want to hear what Daigle has to say. But before I do, about the whole Paratici affair, director of football, but before I do, I want to say 90 people watching. And I know why you're watching, because it's fiery. But I tell you what, it's the way Spurs. There's nothing personal, no personal jibes, and that's the way we want it. That's the way it has to be. So if you're enjoying the show, make sure you smash a like. We're only on 39 likes. We've got 90 people watching. We've got 39 likes. We're also on the road to 3K subscribers. So make sure you hit that sub button, and we've got notification bell on too. I forgot to monetize, but that's good because you don't have adverts. So it's all gravy. If you're watching live or on the recorded version, smash a like. It's free. It's free. So Brian, Paratici, how much power do you think he's had, and how much power in general do you think directors of football have?
So first of all, thank you for returning to this broadcast. That was a party political broadcast for the Hotspur Hood family. Now we're back to our normal show. Listen, when it comes to Paratici, you've got to. I'm looking at certain players that are coming in and certain players that have been identified, i.e. Destiny, i.e. Papa Matasar, as well as others that have obviously been brought in under his leadership. For me, do I think the good outweigh the bad? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I do think the good outweigh the bad. Listen, Stel listed. Give me your bad list again, Stel. But one by one.
We're not going there. We're not going there.
Just so you know, I'm not against Paratici, by the way. I just don't think he's amazing. Don't forget, he brought in Nuno and Conte.
Yeah, so Stel, just go through the list one by one and let me just say good, bad, ugly.
All right.
10 players started Burnley, mate. 10 players started Burnley. We won 5-2.
Fair play.
They're all brought in by Paratici, mate. That's
I'm not against Paratici. I'm just not on the hype train of him. I think he's done things that aren't good at all. But anyway, look, you want the list. Romero.
Good. No, I said the bad. Go through the bad.
Oh, okay. Danjuma.
Yeah, move on. Woeful.
Foster.
I think it's been okay.
Longley
for a backup. Sorry, next one.
Clement Longley.
I'd rather play Davinson Sanchez with a broken leg Or say, let's say Eric Dyer with a broken leg now, so I think we know where I can put that.
Jed Spence?
Club signing, yep, I'm with you on that.
Richarlison?
Richarlison, I wouldn't put in that.
Galini?
Yes.
Brian Gill?
Brian Hill, I'd move into the middle one.
We said that we're not going to include Phillips and Villiers.
Yeah,
Brendan
Phillips,
Johnson.
I don't think we should include anyone
Mate.
in this window. If you're going to include Vicario, then you have to include Villiers and Phillips. But I don't think we should be including anyone, to be quite honest. I mean, he's
So
not
just
what I'm
18.
getting,
He's not going to play, is he, Tommy?
With what Stell just said, and what Stell said that he doesn't think Paratici is bad, he just doesn't think he's up there. That part I can understand. I think if I put it on a spectrum and it was 0, 50, 25, 55, 75, 20, 100, I'm putting him closer to the 75. That's where I would be on the spectrum of what he's done. That's where I would be.
I gave him 6 out of 10, Brian. I gave him 6 out of 10.
So yeah, I'd probably go 1 up on him. I'd probably go 7 out of 10. But I think the good outweigh the bad. Yep. I think the good outweigh the bad. Obviously, the bad ones have been bad. And there are, like Papa Massasar, I'll use Pape right now. When we signed him originally, I went, no one would believe this, but I kind of went mad on We Are Tottenham TV and other channels going, oh, what are we doing? We need a midfielder for now. What are we fucking doing getting this youth in? Here we go.
I told you he was good. I told you at the time.
And then literally, since the Milan, and then coming through up until the Milan, before the Milan game, I was like, do you know what? I think there's something there. And then after the Milan game, all right, it was one game. But
how much is he worth?
Oh, mate,
Brian,
it's gone.
Brian, I told you, when we signed Pape Sarr, I got contacted by 2 Man United scouts saying to me, we can't believe your club have signed him. And I said, what do you mean? I've never heard of him. I said, I don't know nothing about Pape Sarr. I'm not going to make out that I do know anything about him.
Yep.
They said to me, they wanted him. They put him forward to the club. Man United looked at him, but whilst they were doing their due diligence and deciding what they want to do, Spurs came in and grabbed him. They wanted him. Man United wanted him. I swear to you.
Okay, Dan's a Paratici fan.
Paratici did well with that one.
Dan's already
7 out of 10 for me. 7 out of 10 for me.
What out of 10, Dan?
7.
Alex, Paratici, go.
5.
Right. You're going to...
Because he had 2 rejects from Juventus. I still call them 2 rejects from Juventus.
Come on,
and then he knew already. And then the signings that he brought in under Conte as well. I'm sorry. And he should be at our club. I'm sorry. He's got done for what he's done for. I'm trying to be diplomatic about it because I don't want to ruin Tommy's channel. But it's just like, I'm sorry, he should be nowhere near our club. I'm sorry. You know, any other director gets done for what he's done for, we all have a go at him. Yeah, not all of a sudden now. We're all praising him all of a sudden. I'm sorry, he should be at our club and that's it done. Paul Mitchell is better than him all day long. And look at where Paul Mitchell is. He's a master now, somewhere else now. He's gone everywhere else, and that's it. He got lucky at Juventus as well because Morata made him look good as well.
I want Alex to have his say.
Morata made him look good at Juventus, by the way. Yeah, I mean, he was just, he made him look good. He was the man that made everybody Juventus look good. Not him. He was just a scout on the way scout, and that's it. I'm sorry, I'm done with this guy, and that's it. He wasn't cooking. He never was cooking. That's it. Back to you, Tommy. I'm done.
Tommy, Johnny, and then you can go, and then we need to move.
Tommy, on. I just want to add one thing. And I won't say nothing else about Paratici, right? If under
hold on. Johnny wanted to come in there, so I just want to go.
Go on, Still, go on. You go
I'll be quick. I'll be 20 seconds.
Okay, we're diplomatic.
Right, thank you, Johnny. No, thank you, Johnny. No, I appreciate that. If Ange is here for 3 years and we properly build now and he's properly backed and we sign players like Udogie, Vicario, Maddison's, Bentancur's, we keep signing that. Okay, the odd one slips through the net that doesn't work, but the majority like that, I will come on board with Paratici. I will. But I want to see that. If he keeps doing what I'm seeing now, then I'll get on board with it.
I was going to say a fair more props needs to go to Gabby, because Gabby is one of the top scouts out there. Right, he really is. I mean, he spent like nearly 6-7 weeks out in South America scouting around. You know, I'm a bit surprised that he hasn't brought anyone in from Brazil. because he brought in Yao Pedro into Watford, and he's the one that got Udogie. Without him, we wouldn't have got Udogie into the club. So Veliz being, probably his first signing from South America, be interesting to see how we get on there. But I think a lot, as I said, the directive was 16 to 19-year-old recruitment. So we bought Sosok Bell, we bought Lancashire, we bought Herbie James, we bought the kid from Ipswich Town. We bought this amazing kid who, whether or not he lives up to it, Gavaridal from Croatia. We bought Phillips, who, we were talking about this time last year as being a phenomenon. 18. We're buying a lot of potential. Well, our idea is, Stel, is that unlike what we've done previously, where we produce 1 or 2 players every 5-6 years, that we have a conveyor belt of talent that comes through, which enables us, after, I would like to say, in the next 18 months, for us to spend 60-70 million pound on one key player to supplement some of these kids that are coming through, whether it's an Alfie Devine, whether it's a Dorrington or a Donnelly or a Phillips or a Veliz, right? These are all going to add to a lot of them are going to add to our squad. I know Alex takes the piss when I call it the class of 92. I can understand why, because I put my neck on the block, right? But I've never said it before, because I know the journey, and you will know it, Stel, the journey from youth to full-time playing in the, in our first team is
the hardest jump.
It doesn't happen.
Johnny, can I ask you something on this, right? Can I ask something on this, right? On the 26th, in fact, Brian's coming with me. We're going to meet the new academy director. Okay, we're going to meet him. I've been invited in, 30 of us. We're going to have a 2-hour session. I'm going to ask him some questions about what the change is going to look like, if there's going to be a change. I want to question what he thinks about how the previous structure was. Anyway, that said, I've always believed that if you're going to bring through youngsters, the most important thing they need is time and minutes. But our managers have been under such immense pressure to get top 4 that the risk of these kids developing and failing and making mistakes as part of their journey, costing us points, the manager will then, fans will turn, the owners turn, you didn't get top 4, right? If we're going to do this, I think it needs to happen right now, whilst there's no expectation, while there's no pressure on top 4. Because if Ange turns this around and in 2 years' time, we're actually pretty good, are we going to be able to bring through youngsters unless they're exceptional from the off?
They're a bit young still. The thing is, I hear what you're saying. I just think that these kids are probably 18 months away. Like Alfie Devine, there's no doubt he's a talent, right? Do I think he's ready just now? No, I don't. I think he needs another year.
Out alone.
Yeah, exactly, right? And, Donnelly, what a talent he is. Last season, I must have seen him play 6-7 positions. He doesn't care. He goes on the pitch, and wherever he plays, he puts in a performance. There are certain players who I'm looking at, and I'm thinking, what has gone on? Where have these kids come from?
But Johnny, let's say in 18 months' time, God forbid, well, not God forbid, God hope, touch wood. Let's say we are title contenders. I'm just putting it out there. Let's just imagine we are. Are we going to risk playing Alfie Devine and Veliz when we are genuinely in a title contention
If they're
race?
good enough, Stel.
But they can only become good enough if they get the minutes in the team in the Premier League
understand,
games.
Which is why I was.
So what do we do?
Well, you need to have a clear path. And I think that a lot of the directive is to actually have a clear path, to show there's an opportunity.
I think I think you have to take risks, though. I think you can always be a year away or 18 months away, but you have to take a punt sometimes. Even if you think they are 2 years away, I think just
is the manager going to risk his job doing that?
No.
Is the manager going to risk his job failing?
Well, this is the big problem. This is what I've said a lot of the time. Ange is not a Spurs fan. Ange did not come into this club as a Spurs fan.
He's a Liverpool fan.
Him 16 years without a trophy. The minimum we can win a trophy is 16 years if we win the FA Cup. Or some people think we're going to win the Premier League. So FA Cup and Premier League, it'll be 16 years. So that's why in the Carabao Cup, it doesn't really care if we go out a great deal, because it's not his fault we haven't won a trophy for 16 years. His criteria will be the Premier League under Levy. It will be the Premier League, 100%. So that's just where I see it going. And with Stell there, he cannot risk youngsters. This is going to be his last big job. For Ange, nearly 60 years old, I think this is going to be his last big job, to be honest with you. He doesn't want to lose the money. He doesn't want to get sacked.
You can't see him going to Liverpool.
But you can still find a great balance. You can
Tommy,
still find a great balance.
Tommy, do you know what he should do? Do you know what he should do? Bin Dyer, bin Davies, bin all these players, and the backup defenders should be the young kids. It should be
that
Phillips.
is the great
It
thing
should be
with Ange.
Donington.
You're missing one big point.
It looks like he's willing to bin these players. It looks like he's willing to bin these players, and that's why I'm very, very happy. Right,
the kids should be our backup now.
I don't like to keep the show over 2 hours, so we got to move on.
Tom, can I make one point on this, mate? One point I want to make on this.
Okay, quick.
I want us to play young players because we want to play them, not because we have to play them. It's a big difference there, yeah? I want us to play the young players because they're possibly good enough to step into it, not because we've got no other bloody option and we've only got Eric Dyer sitting there.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
To play the other player. Perfect example is what Arsenal did with Saliba. Everyone grilled them. Everyone grilled Leonardo. Everyone rinsed him. 2 years later, he comes back into the Premiership and he's probably one of the top 3 defenders in the Premiership now. That's how it's
a fair point. That's a fair point.
So we're going to talk about the North London debate. As I said, I don't like taking these streams over.
I hate to use them as an example, but he's your perfect
what I will
one.
say is this: one final thing on Paratici. One final thing, just my view on Paratici, because I don't watch Liga. I'll be honest, I don't watch Liga, La Liga, Eredivisie, Bundesliga. I watch Championship and I watch Serie A. I've always loved those leagues. So they're the 2 leagues I love. And what I will say about Paratici is, I don't look at the signings as success or failure. I don't think he's given any power. When it comes to the negotiations of a transfer, in terms of the amount bid, the contracts given to the players, or transfer fees received for players, I don't think he's got any power. His greatest role at Juventus was chief scout. When he got director of football from Morata is the king scout. He got Juventus moving. He won the Serie A title, director of football at Conte after they hadn't done it for 10 years. He was the director of football. When he left, Juventus were terrible. They didn't win the league for the first time. They didn't qualify for the Champions League. Paratici was sacked. He become a Spurs director of football. So since the Paul Mitchell season, first year, magnificent, signed some brilliant players. Second season, Paul Mitchell said, my dream job's become a nightmare. That point on, I think Levy took the power away. I honestly do. And we can look at the signings, and some of them are good signings, but I think they're Levy signings. I still think they're Levy signings. Kulusevski, I can tell you now, was not a hidden gem. He was signed for £35 million as a youngster. He wasn't a hidden gem. Bentancur was first team for Juventus until he got sold. And Uruguay, he was not a hidden gem. Juventus sold Zakaria. Juventus sold Zakaria and they sold Vlahovic. They needed to make room. They had to get rid of 2 players. Now, don't get me wrong, Paratici knew these 2 players, but they didn't choose Spurs. Kulusevski and Bentancur didn't choose Spurs. We got on penultimate day of the window after we got rid of Winks and Dele Alli on loan. That's why they came. Romero, Serie A Defender of the Year. You don't need to be a great scout to see the Serie A Defender of the Year. Bissouma, one of the greatest centre mids in the Prem at that time. Bissouma. You don't need to be a great scout to bring Bissouma in. So I don't put the Gil transfer on Paratici. I don't put the Romero transfer, the positive one, on Paratici. It's Levy for me. Some of them are going to work, some of them aren't. Quite a few have worked recently, it seems. But the proof's in the pudding. As I said, it's still 5 games. We've got to see over the.
What did those two do though, Tommy? Those 2 signings that we made in that January that Paratici bought in changed our season, right?
I think he helped bring them in. He helped bring them in.
Okay. I'm telling you, he was the key man behind
the rejects. Deal. The rejects.
Whatever. They weren't rejects for us, were they?
I know.
Yeah, without those 2 signings, I think we can all agree we wouldn't have got 4th.
Yeah, 100%.
No, that's right. Bentancur was in the first team at Juventus for a long time, and the fact of it says he had a big fallout with the manager, meant to send a few things to him, and they wouldn't put him on the pitch afterwards.
But my point with Bentancur is
very good player.
Yeah, he's not a hidden gem. That's why he might not be a Paratici would have helped. But Bentancur, 60 caps for Uruguay. He won
£17 million.
He won 4 Scudettos under Juventus. So you might not know him in this league. But I can assure you, in Serie A, Kulusevski at 18 was signed for £35 million. These were not hidden gems. These were not hidden gems at all. Right, Stel, you've got to go.
See you later, mate.
I wanted to keep you around for the stadium rights talk, but I think he's got to go on another shot.
Oh,
but we'll move on to the stadium rights talk. I think this come out yesterday's story. Football London reporting that Levy has said that 4 years on, I'll paraphrase. It wasn't exactly this. It's just from memory. We haven't had a stadium name as thorough research is needed for the right brand to come along. Johnny, have you heard this story and what do you make of it?
Yeah, no, I have. Listen, we rejected the Tampax Arena and the Domestos Dome. I
was going to come to names. But yeah, man. Yeah, carry on.
But I mean, listen, look, the thing is, there was a huge appetite for naming rights. There was a huge appetite. And what he tried to do and got screwed up on was he didn't want to sell it as a football stadium because the money you can get as a football stadium is not as much as you can get for an iconic global sporting arena, right? Not how we want it to be described, but that's what he was trying to do, right? So basically, boxing, concerts, NFL, this, that, and the other, an iconic, like the O2 Arena, like global iconic stadium, okay? The problem was that when the COVID came, not only did that kill that, but also the arse fell out of the money and naming rights market. It fell off a cliff. The guy, I keep forgetting his name, they employed from America, who got the huge contract out in America.
Todd Klein.
Yeah. He had his back against the wall to actually to get that big brand. You know, Apple, Amazon, they're not spending that big money on a naming stadium. They're not interested. No one is really after that. So whilst I can understand why he tried to delay it, to try and get more money as an overall global brand for a multi-purpose arena, it's actually backfired massively. And now you're trying to sell yourself in a market where there's very little appetite. So whereas before you might have got 25, 30 million a season, no one's interested in anything like that now. As Chelsea are finding with their shirt sponsorship, you know, the market has fallen out of paying stupid money at the moment.
Right, Alex, I haven't heard from you in a little while. Have you got anything you'd like to add to this whole stadium name debate?
To be honest with you, I just think it just shows you where we are at the moment, and that's why I need more time to analyse the whole thing at the moment with Ange and the whole thing. Because for me, it just smells of something about we just don't know what we are doing. We don't know what the whole club objective is, and that's it for me. You know, I just think it's just a whole load of waffle for me. And regardless whether I don't know too much about finance and what to do about naming rights and everything else, I just think you know, what is the objective of this club? You see what I'm saying? This is where I have my doubts about the youngsters at the moment. I don't think they know what they want to do with these youngsters at all. I don't think they do. And this naming rights for this stadium at the moment, I mean, I just think, I mean, I've seen the statements, and they say that they want to do, you know, bring all these things in with, you know, do these Formula Ones and everything else around the stadium, the concerts and everything else. But ultimately, what is the ultimate objective of the club to achieve in the next 5 to 10 years about the football? And they don't give you specifics of what they want. And when I give examples of this is again where I should have done this on Mr. Box Office TV. You know what I mean? Because I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, but you know, I'm trying to be more investigative, Mr. Box Office TV, be deep in depth, and that's it. But my point is, yeah, you know, it's like, when you look at Newcastle, they say, well, in 5 to 10 years, well, 5 years, we want to be up there, going for the championship. Yeah. With other teams, you've got the other side as well. You've got Brighton, who've got they've given an idea what they want to do in the next 5 to 10 years. Tottenham Hotspur, it's just saying we want to win. What does that mean? You see what I'm saying? What does that mean? Win games, win a Carabao Cup, win an FA Cup. And I just think this whole thing of the stadium thing just shows you that we don't know what our ultimate objective is. You get what I'm saying? If you could tell me, I could tell you what Ange wants, because Ange has made it quite clear what he's all about. The club, don't know, and I don't think I will know anytime soon, because we're not this club has never been about the football. Sorry, you know what I mean? Danny said it quite clearly from the very, very get-go. Yeah. You know, from the very, very get-go, they bought this club not for football reasons. Yeah. It wasn't for football reasons.
Dan E or Danny?
Danny, the deluded one, my buddy. The man that doesn't know what time it is sometimes.
You're talking about the bun.
Yeah, the bun. You know who I'm talking about.
Sometimes doesn't know what time it is. He never knows what time it is.
We all know, Brian. We all know. We all know. But we love him. We love him.
You see, with this stadium thing, Tom, I think it goes a little bit deeper. I don't think he intended to get stadium names for about 2 years anyway. Right. How do you make a club better known? Football's becoming bigger in America, yeah? Right. So he gets the NFL rights and everything. Right. The people over there, where are we going to watch this game? Right. Say, for instance, it's at Chelsea. Just example. Oh, we're going to Stamford Bridge. Where's that? London. Okay, done. They don't even know it's Chelsea. Right. Where are we going to watch this NFL game? Oh, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Oh, where's that? In London. That's a football team, isn't it? Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Yeah. So for about 2 years, he couldn't have got any more off the press than he wanted out there. Because everywhere they were going to play, every 2 mentions, the name that was mentioned was Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham Hotspur. He got himself all the paperwork he wanted with that. What he wants to do now, total different story. But I don't think he had no intention of selling the stadium rights for 2 years. I reckon he used it on the business side, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and everything I said. He got Tottenham's name all over America. Better than any other club.
That's what I was trying to say before, Dan, right? He purposely waited to stage multi-events to get it. Can I just say, there was someone in there that said they disagreed because there was stadiums built recently that got naming right deals. You're 100% correct, they did. And the guy who got those deals is the guy Spurs employed. What I'm saying to you is you're 100% correct. But then COVID came and the arse fell out of that market. And what Dan's saying and what I'm saying is correct. He purposely waited to have these major events so that it was in the marketplace in America and all over. Go on, Brian. I see you want this.
Yeah, no. That's right. Here we go. I'm going to say a few things here. First of all, I don't even know why it's called the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's not new anymore. It's not new.
No,
it may be a new stadium in the shape of how modern it is and everything. We've been in there for 4 years. It's not new. It's not new. You want to talk about naming rights, and before people go, oh, it's Barcelona and Real Madrid. Before a brick was laid, Spotify and other people, bang, there you go. Yes, it's for obscene amount of money, which we won't get because it's Real Madrid and Barcelona. There have been NFL stadiums that have gone up since or are in the process of being made, especially the one in Las Vegas. Naming rights before a brick was laid. Every single stadium that has got stadium naming rights, apart from Newcastle when they had it as a sport arena, when they moved into their new stadium, naming rights were sorted. This is pre-COVID. So it's COVID nonsense. I'm not letting this go. Yes, the market went. But when he was offered naming rights at a price, would you have rathered a 40 million 5-year naming rights deal? I'm just chucking numbers out. Or would you rather 4 years of the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium?
Oh, totally agree with what you're saying. But
there have been opportunities that have come along. Now, because it weren't the right money, he hasn't taken it. Now, if it was way off the mark, and I do mean way off the mark, then fair play. Tottenham Hotspur Football Club is, as we know now, the premium sports event. It's just won its 28th goddamn award. There are deals out there to be made. There is something there. Why they did not call that stadium the Bill Nicholson Stadium as soon as it was made, to honour the great man And if it wasn't for him, that stadium wouldn't even be there because we wouldn't have the reputation to be where we were when the club was bought. This goes on for 4 years. There's so many other things that have gone on with. I'll give you another thing for 4 years. Hasn't apologised for the Super League. Only chairman that hasn't apologised for the Super League, and the only Englishman,
never will.
and the only English chairman that was part of a club that knows how English football is treated here. Still no apology. Naming rights could have been done, should have been done. I get playing the market and whatever, but there are the filth, Leicester, Bolton, Sunderland. I can go. All
Man
naming
City
rights
got it pretty new as well. Man City got it pretty early as well, didn't they?
They're all
market
done.
was different then. The market was
Johnny, you can say the market was different, but there have been deals on the table that could have been done, should have been done. But like always, he has to win the negotiations. He has to win.
There are many ways. Sorry, Dave. I think one of the biggest. I think the NFL debate is brilliant because the NFL talk is brilliant. Because I believe if we do get the London franchise, which I believe was the plan all along, then we'll get the naming rights. I honestly believe
we've already got it
because the branding is so key. The branding's so key. That's why Juventus. Some clubs did take a long time. Juventus took 10 years before they called it the Allianz Arena. You've got to get the brand name right. You've got to get it right. You've got to have it introduced with the setup. And our setup is very, very different. So
if Tesco come and offer 100 million a year,
it could be similar as Juventus. I think we could be 10 years away from London.
I just don't think they're going to make the choice, Tommy. I just think at the moment I've just got no. Thing is, though, like I said, I haven't heard any real bigs. I just think at the moment, I just think behind the scenes just shows you how bad it is behind the scenes at the moment. I don't think they know what they want to do because they're so wanting to make money from other things at the moment and thinking about that sort of brand that I don't think they're actually thinking about. Because I think Brian makes an absolutely fantastic point. Why can you not make it the Bill Nicholson Stadium? I'll tell you why. Because they don't care about history. They never did.
And they won't make money.
Plus, it wouldn't have given nothing on the business. You go to America, where are you playing? Bill Nicholson Stadium. Where's that? London. Okay. Now, on the moral side, I totally agree it should have been done. On the business side, no.
Yeah, I know, but the point is...
on the business side, I think for the first 2 years, he had no intention of naming that stadium. He wanted the Tottenham Hotspur name put all over America. And that's what was done. And then COVID and everything happened. It all went tits up, and he's just getting his stuff together on that one. I don't like the fella, but on this side, I think that was his way of getting our name put all over America.
But my point is, though, Dan, is that if you wanted to have some respect for your history, right, and that Brian makes an absolutely fantastic point, regardless whether it's not known well known. Yeah, but he still should be respected because the fact is Tottenham have not been existed if it wasn't for Bill Nicholson. Right?
Morally, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I think he could have done something in honour of him for the stadium. That's what he could have done.
He should have
at least have something there. He's done a mural for Harry Kane. He did a mural for Harry Kane that then he disrespected, even though I called him a loser all this time, called him disrespected by not letting him even say goodbye to his his colleagues. Yeah, treated him so badly.
Do you know what?
And that's it.
Do you know what the two biggest things were? Do you know what the two biggest
morals?
Do you know the two biggest?
Well, that's why I don't. That's why I don't agree. That's why I don't trust him.
Before the stadium was built, can I just add this, Dan? I'll let you respond. Before the stadium was built, my cousin Aziz, I've got a cousin called Aziz. He helped build the Wimbledon centre court roof back in the day. So he's an engineer and he's in that field. And he knew the two main things they wanted out of that stadium were the NFL pitch. That was number one. Secondly, it was the acoustics. The acoustics of the ground had to be top draw. So both non-footballing matters, right? Because it's NFL, acoustics for the concert. So the acoustics had to be top draw. They were the two main bullet points, the criteria of the stadium. And I think it goes without showing. I think there has to be a name. There has to be a name. And I have no problem with them getting stadium rights from a sponsor. You know, they're going to make serious money out of it. But having those two as your top criteria is worrying. And we can see now that the footballing side of Tottenham Hotspurs is third, fourth, fifth importance, and that's a massive problem for me, regardless of when we get the stadium name rights, which we will do. I think we will do down the road, and it could be when the NFL franchise comes over. Dan, sorry, you wanted to say something there. After this, we're going to get talking about the North London derby, but Dan.
I totally agree on what everyone's saying on the moral sides, this and that, and I'm usually the one who fight for the morals and that, yeah. But on the business side, he got it right for the first 2 years. I think he had the right idea of what he wanted and how to get Tottenham Hotspur's name known in America. Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. To me, I think that was a shrewd bit of business he done. Business-wise. Moral-wise, no, it was wrong. The fellas are wrong and through. He don't care about morals. He don't do morals. He's a businessman. End of. And then, by now, we should have a name for that stadium. Yes. But I think the first 2 years, he got the right idea. And then I just think it bit him in the backside, basically, where it just went tits up with COVID and everything else. But the first 2 years, he had no intentions of naming that place. Never. I don't believe he did. He should have called Mill Stank.
Dan, do you believe, because you said it's all business related, do you believe an owner, of course they're there to make money, should have any principles or morals when it comes to the fan base of the club you own?
Yes, when it comes to football, yes, they should, because there's two sides to football. There's the football and there's the business. And we all know Tottenham are not football, they are purely business. The way they are with the fans, the way they do the tickets, the way they do everything, you can go on and on and on. They don't care about the fans. Why? Because they're so powerful as a business out of the football that our fans can't make much of a bloody difference to them. Whereas in other clubs, they can. Tottenham are probably one of, if not the most powerful football club in the world out of football. In football, no. Out of football, we've got the biggest income. With the amount of money we make through the events, NFL, the Formula One deals, and all that, they're too powerful in that aspect. As all they care about is business. We should have named that stadium by now. Yes, the North Stadium should have been called the Bill Nicholson North End or whatever, or they should have called the stadium the Bill Nicholson Stadium, but he was never going to do it. We all know what this prick is like. It ain't going to happen. I think within the next year or so, we will get a name for that place because he wants the money now. The name's put about enough. He wants the money. But then who do we go for? Everyone says, right, do we want him to go for a name with good money? Right, so Tesco's come in and offer 90 million a year. Example. Yeah, snap it up. It's a good deal for the money, isn't it? And we really want to be at the Tesco Stadium, don't we? No, we don't.
What's the slogan for Tesco again? Oh, every little helps.
Every little helps.
Yeah,
exactly my point. Yeah, exactly my point. So everyone's saying that we want him to accept the best money deal on it, whatever. No, I mean, there's plenty who could come in. I think we're going to, I don't know, who's going to come in and do it? Nike, Amazon, Apple.
You crack me up. Tesco, do you know what? I was thinking you can't get any deals unless you've got a club card now on Tesco. But if it was, you'd probably have to get a club card as well to get money off tickets and season tickets.
In its own way, it'd be the perfect thing that just matches the way the clubs run, wouldn't it? Might as well call it Tesco's for God's sake. No, sorry, there's a better one than Tesco's. You go Aldi's, don't you? But either way,
Kevin the Carrot will be.
But either way, yeah. He's also got to be careful with this one on what we call the stadium in the end. Because last thing we want is the Aldi Stadium or the Tesco Stadium. I mean, the Amazon Stadium ain't going to sound great, but it sounds better than Tesco.
Ben and Jerry's Bowl. I like that. The Ben and Jerry's Bowl. That's pretty good.
There's a few. I mean, is it going to be the Nike Stadium or whatever? I mean, if someone comes in, like say Reebok, go and put it in, you're going to say, mate, that sounds so 80s. Why would we call it the Reebok Stadium? I don't know, just a name, yeah. But he's going to have to name it sooner or later, and I think a majority of us probably won't like it because it'd be down to the money. But he can't just go for the biggest money one because, like I said, if Tesco offer the biggest amount, we can't have the Tesco Stadium.
So Dan? So. Can we have some names then? Some names for the stadium. Come on, I've
got a list. And I said the Ben and Jerry's Bowl because it's American and it's the bowl as in not food bowl.
So you're ruling out the Domestos.
Amazon Prime. I think, Johnny, you hit the nail on the head. Amazon Prime. I think you could replace Today's to do with, what is it? Oh, next day delivery. You could do that. Next day delivery instead of Today's to do. And then the Google one. The Google one was the one that came out of the woodwork the most 6 months ago. That's the only name I've actually seen like fully linked. Yeah, that's the only name.
Well, the money that would be in it with the Google one would be unreal. They're what, the third biggest company on the planet, if not second biggest. I can't remember exactly their pinpoint and that.
And Danny Rose would be up there, Dan, right? Would he not? He'd be there in the advert, Googling the players. Googling
Exactly what he said, wasn't it? I don't know what they're going to call it, but as long as they don't call it Tesco or something, I'll deal with it.
Right, it's been a very long show. We're on to the final segment now. Huge game Sunday. Both unbeaten. Both unbeaten. 4 games, 1 draw. Arsenal beat Everton on the weekend. That's the first full game I've watched of Arsenal. Doing a bit of scouting. Both late wins for both of us. So it's two very similar teams coming up against each other. Both beat Man United as well. So it's going to be a great game. Right. First of all, I'm going to start with Johnny. So how much do you? 2 questions because we've got to get a move on. How much do you detest Arteta out of 10? Because he is very much detested, not just amongst the Spurs faithful. And if you're going to weigh up their transfer window and our transfer window, how do you see it?
As far as Arteta, even if he was not the Arsenal manager, I absolutely hate him. I hate the way he carries on. I hate the way he's actually on the pitch at times, and the referees and the 4th officials seem to allow him to do it. I hate the way he gets all his players to surround the referee at all times, where Ange is telling them he doesn't want anything to do with it. I hate him. I absolutely hate him. And the way that interview on Saturday, when he asked him about who his number 1 goalkeeper was. I don't know if you saw that interview. Did you see that? I didn't
see the interview. No, I didn't see the interview.
Right, I'm going to post it tomorrow. Right, horrible. It was no need for the nasty. I got players. What number? What are you talking about? I have 11 players. What do you mean the number 1?
Oh, I heard something in commentary.
I saw that.
I didn't hear that, but I heard it in commentary when I just heard it.
I hate him. I hate his demeanour. I hate his manner. He's everything. He's the complete polar opposite, in my opinion, of Ange. Okay.
So out of 10, 11?
I hate him to the max. And I'm just saying this, just for clarity here. If he was, Bolton manager, whoever, right? It would be the same. It's nothing to do with the fact that he's Arsenal manager, because I respected Arsene Wenger. That's the fact. And I even liked Gedebnin, right?
And the transfer window, Havertz, Timber, Rice, Raya. How do you rate their transfer window compared to ours?
I think ours, in the test of time, will turn out to be a better transfer window and spending far less. That's my opinion.
Right. Alex, our transfer window and Lego head, Mr. Arteta. How do you Lego face, Lego head? I can't remember what his nickname is. What's your say on both of those?
On Arteta, I don't care about him. I'm not bothered about him. That's a quick answer for you. On the transfer window, you know me, Tommy. I don't play FIFA, but I couldn't tell you. Because the thing is that in the day we're looking at 2 teams that are different spectrums at the end of the day, so you can't really judge it. To be honest with you, you know what I mean? Because like I said, Arsenal are now looking to go for championships now and winning trophies now. Tottenham Hotspur are just starting a rebuild.
Well, shouldn't we be signing bigger? The fact that we're playing catch up now.
Well, no, because at the end of the day, I don't expect a lot from our team. I think we're going to get 8th this season. I said, at worst, I think we'll get 8th. Well, no, at best, we'll get 8th. And if we get 6th, I think that's a brilliant season for us, to be honest with you. So I'm not expecting a lot from this team. That's what I said before. You know what I mean? So, I can't really answer your question because I can't really judge it. Because I don't think it's a fair question because, and no disrespect to you, Johnny, but no disrespect to you, Tommy, but I just think the 2 teams are completely different spectrums at the moment. One team's going for the championship, one team's rebuilding. So I don't think we can really judge it on their transfer window. They're always going to be bigger than us because they've had a couple of good seasons and they have a little bit of an upward trajectory because they need to win a trophy this season. You know what I mean?
Depth, haven't they, Alex?
Exactly.
Depth. Yeah.
Exactly. We're starting all over again. You know what I mean? And that's all I can say. So I can't really judge it. I can't judge it on that.
That really comes through the signings, though. Surely, how you change. Like we were in front of Arsenal for 6-7 years, and they done better in the track. For me, they made better signings in the
though,
transfer
Tommy.
window. They got youth players through, and that combination changed Arsenal into almost getting into the Champions League. And then they should have won the title last season.
Their identity's been messed up. Our identity's been messed up for the last 4 years. You get what I'm saying?
So Dan, I'll put this differently to you. Say that we're both fighting for the title. Say that Spurs and Arsenal are both fighting for the title. How would you have rated the windows if we both got the same expectations? Right. Which for me, we should have. I don't know why we wouldn't have.
The way I'm going to rate it is our transfer window was basically exactly the same as Arsenal's. What I mean by that is, they've obviously got a better 11 than us. But either way, we made our 11 better. But we've still got no cover off the pitch. The drop from what we've got in defence, midfield, all right, we might have a little bit of cover up front, is massive. Arsenal, they made their first team better. Apart from Timber going there, he's out now. They've got no cover off the pitch as well. I mean, if Rice gets injured, who've they got there? Juninho, great. That's a massive drop. That's the same sort of drop from like putting Højbjerg on there, basically, if Sarr gets injured or Basuma or whatever. They're in the same situation we are. Their 11 is better, but their squad they're still in just as much trouble off the pitch, basically, if they get an injury, same as we are.
But
if they get another injury
win
in
the
defense,
Champions League, though, so he's not that bad.
Well, good luck to him, but that was about 3 years ago, wasn't it? 4 years? We're looking at him now. But he's no better than Højbjerg now. He's no better than Højbjerg now. He's past his bit now. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but it's definitely a big drop from Rice to him, is it not?
I see what your point is, but I think Jorginho at least has won the Champions League. He's won trophies. So he's given that know-how.
Then Alex, I can turn around and say Loris won the World Cup and so's Romero. He's won the World Cup.
Fair enough, but I just think Romero's still young, though, isn't he? But
but my point, you're missing my point. My point is the big drop. Juninho is nowhere near as good as Rice. You don't think so?
I don't think it's a massive drop.
Okay, we've got an opinion on that one. I think it is.
I think it's. I see your point though.
Dan.
Right,
Jesus gets injured. Who's their cover there?
Okay, I agree with you there.
Now,
I don't think Jesus is that great anyway.
On their left and right, they got a little bit more depth there, basically, same as we have. But as soon as they go into centre midfield and they lose a centre midfielder, they're in the same sort of drop that we are, going down to Højbjerg and Skip. Skip, he's just awful. But in defence, they're in the same situation we are. One of their main defenders gets injured. Now that Timber's out, one of their main defenders gets injured. Who do they go to now? They're in the same sort of trouble we are. Saliba gets injured. Well, look, Saliba, he got injured last season. It then showed Zinchenko for how much of a crap defender he is, but how good at going forward, just like Trent Alexander-Arnold. And it opened them up about 5 goals.
We all
one defender.
Disaster. We all
exactly. 100%. But they're in the same sort of situation because of the drop that they have to bring on is massive. I'm not saying they've made bad signings.
Yeah,
but
they've done the same as proven. I think Tommy Arsu's okay, back up, centre back, right back.
They made their 11 better. Their squad.
I think Kieran Tierney's very good backup, and they've got 2 good goalkeepers. So I think
they got great
defense. I think they got. You see, that's why I'd sort of disagree. Like Trossard on the bench.
I said that.
Centre mid, they're weak. Centre mid, I think they made a big. They made a disaster in getting rid of Xhaka. I hate Xhaka, but as backup, he would have been all right. And striker up front, I do agree with you, Dan. Nketiah and Jesus. Nketiah is awful. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed he starts.
He's come through the academy. He'll go. And another one, this is what I'm saying about how academy.
And Emil Smith-Rowe's there as well. And Emil Smith-Rowe, who's fit.
But look at the players they've sold. Maitland-Niles, what's his name? Iwobi.
As the left back they got rid of.
Yeah, no, I mean,
that they should have kept.
That's what we need to be doing. You know, we need to be producing your Sakas, your players that we think, he's not quite good enough. We need to upgrade him, but we'll sell him and we'll get 25, 30 million. You know, that's where we need to be. And hopefully in the next 18 months, 2 years, the start of the conveyor belt will come. When Mikey Moore and Alfie Devine and the Donnellys come through, you'll remember these conversations.
The point I'm making is they're basically, as far as I'm concerned, in the same situation with a different quality of players. They made their first 11 better. They didn't make their squad no better. And that's how I feel we're the same as well. Our first 11's better, but our squad definitely ain't no better.
Dan, out of 10, how much do you hate Arteta? Quick, just give me a number.
Do you know what? I'll have to go 7 because I don't despise the fella. I don't despise him just because he's Arsenal manager. I think he's actually done all right considering, but I'll go 7 because he's just a bit of a mug, really, isn't he? Okay, right. Johnny said he hates Arteta, not just based on Spurs. So, David, what's your say on Arteta and the comparisons of the two transfer windows for you?
Can't stand the man. Just simply can't stand him. He's. I just don't like his antics. Don't like what he is. I find him so boring to listen to. I just wish I just can't stand him. I think we had the better window this year. I'm serious, by a country mile. I think we had the better window.
Yeah, I agree.
You look at it. We
How much did they spend, Brian? 200.
Well, you know what? For me, it's not even about the. You look at it. We desperately needed a left centre back. Desperately, and needed it for 3.5 years.
Did you not say we needed 2 or 3 centre backs?
We needed.
Right?
Well, yeah, no, that's not what I'm talking. What I'm saying is the most important thing was to fill in that left centre back because that had been a gaping hole since Jan. Of course, we could have had more. Of course, I wanted more. We sorted that, and not only have we sorted that for now, Mickey van der Ven could be a defender of ours for 8, 9, 10 years. That's set. We needed the creative player. We got him in James Maddison. We needed a goalkeeper. Man, I was pissed off when we went for Vicario over Raya, but man, now am I proud to admit I got that completely, totally and utterly wrong. And I'm absolutely over the moon that we have Big Vic in here. Destiny.
So far, so good.
Last season, but I count him more like this season because he's come into the club. Wow. You look at it, I think, hands down, we needed to do wholesale changes. Listen, we all knew it weren't going to get done in one window. You got to remember the players we got out as well. Yeah, a couple of them have gone out on loan. I think this season we have completely smashed a lot of people in the transfer market. Yes, we could have done more. Yes, we should have done more. But I can't sit here and criticise what I think is wrong and then just not gloss over what I think we've done right as a club. And this window, I think we've done absolutely superb. Yes, it could have been better, but we have brought in very, very well. Very, very well.
We made our 11 better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. A few people have said that Tierney's gone out on loan. So, I do remember that. But
listen,
I don't know
I will never.
But they obviously allowed that. They obviously allowed that, so they were comfortable. They were comfortable with who they had.
I've got to say this, yeah. I have to say
he's a good player.
I will never, ever, I am not going to give them credit for what they've done right now until they stick with their strategy throughout the process. I'm sorry. One window.
No, I get your point.
One window doesn't give them any credit for how much rubbish they've given us the last couple of years. Yeah, and especially the fact that they've lifted the ticket prices and they've given excuses for it. I'm sorry. I can't do it. And Brian, stick with your man to every single time, bro, because this is where I have to sit with, because at the end of the day, right, I've seen Leicester City win championships, I've seen Liverpool win championships, I've seen teams win FA Cups, yeah, I've seen teams like Brighton stick with a strategy all through that strategy, yeah, and stick with their morals and everything else, Brentford and everybody else, and that's it. And now they've only started realising they need good football after Poch, after 4 years. I couldn't forgive them after what they did after Poch. And the reason why I say that, it's not because I love Poch, is because I've got fed up after Martin Yole. I got fed up after Harry Redknapp, and Mauricio Pochettino was the last straw. And then bringing in Mourinho. I'm sorry, they need to do a lot more. Yeah, and the reason why they're looking good at the moment is because of Postecoglou, and that's giving Postecoglou credit. Yeah, so for the negative people that came say Mr. Botsoff is Mr. Post Office, well, I've just given you a positive. Yeah, I've just given you your man some probs. Yeah. Right, and for a guy that's not back in this process yet until he has a bad run, because then we'll see whether this is a long-term process, and that's it. And that's not a lie. That's not a waffle. That's Mr. Truth coming from Mr. Bot's office. And if you don't know, get to know. Back to you, Tommy. I'm absolutely done. You don't know, get to know.
I was hoping we'd get one of them before we ended, and we are nearly ending. That we're going to get predictions for the game, and then we're going to go. But before we do, make sure you smash a like. We're up to 50 likes now. Fantastic. It's always good to reach that milestone. So thank you ever so much for the people watching and the people that hit the like. If you haven't, please do. And of course, subscribe. Right. My say on the Arteta, I hate him for everything Johnny said. Everything Johnny said, I agree with. I haven't agreed with everything Johnny said tonight, but I agree with. If I wasn't an Arsenal fan, a Spurs fan, I would.
I was going to say, well done for correcting yourself there.
I despise the guy. I despise the guy. He sort of gets involved in the players' faces, opposition players, like nicking the ball, and the referee. He's just a nasty fuck. He's
a little boy, isn't he?
A lot of the
he's
time.
A little boy.
It's horrible.
He's a boy, isn't he? That's why I laugh at him.
I wanted to watch Arsenal all or nothing because they threw it away, didn't they? They threw it away that season, but I couldn't watch more than 5 or 10 minutes of Arteta, so I've refused to watch it.
It's always Norwich. Was it Norwich? They could always lose it. Was it Norwich? Was it? I can't remember. What the last game was. Was he not in?
When we beat Norwich, and when Arteta said maybe we'll lose to Norwich.
Yeah.
Maybe Norwich will beat them. Yeah.
Okie dokie, guys.
Right. So yeah, transfer window. I think we had a good transfer window. Without Maddison, I don't think it was a good transfer window at all. I think the Maddison transfer, he opens up so many avenues to the football team. Someone we needed so badly. He's probably the sign of the season.
Yes, easily.
Maybe around Europe. So for that alone, we deserve our props. For that alone, we deserve our props. The others we don't know a great deal about them yet. You know, Van der Ven, 38 games in 2 seasons from the Bundesliga. He's had big injuries. If he stays fit, he looks like there are problems I've seen with Van der Ven so far, but he's much better option than we've got. And the fact that he's 22 and rapid, absolutely rapid. But the problem is we haven't even got Sanchez for backup. I think Sanchez was the best backup out of the backups we had. We got Dyer and we got Phillips, who's played 7 games for Blackburn. So we can say he's going to be a good player, but we signed Phillips before we signed Van der Ven. So we can't say that Phillips hasn't had much time to adapt to the team. Van der Ven was signed after and he's starting.
There was a lot of talk
and he didn't play. He hasn't played Phillips. In any of the games, he hasn't played Phillips for pre-season.
There was a lot of talk about Phillips last year. I got told about Phillips last summer, and I was asking about him in the January transfer window, and I was told nothing's happening. So I switched off from it. But there was a lot of talk about him. You know, like the kid is just 18. He's not like 18, nearly 19. He was just 18 there in the summer. So, you know, we got to realise that, 18, if you want to be a striker and you're 18, you can get thrown in, make the odd mistake, you're not going to get punished. Same on a wing, fine, same thing, bring them along. Even a midfielder, if you've got some experience amongst you. But to play an 18-year-old centre-back, throw him in at the deep end, it's a big risk. Big risk. We shall see what happens. The season will unfold, but
it's almost certain. It's almost certain. Romero almost got injured already.
Yeah, no, I know.
On international duty, he gets loads of injuries. We know that. Van der Ven was almost injured. Van der Ven was injured in his second game.
Emerson Royal will play right centre back before him.
Don't even get me started on Emerson Royal playing right centre. Right. So I think it's a pretty relatively even transfer window. They're very unlucky, Arsenal, the fact that they got out.
Yeah.
I watched him against Everton. It's only Everton. Raya had his first good game. He's really good with the ball at his feet. Raya, very, very good. Saliba is in the top 5 centre backs in the world. That boy is different levels. Out of potential of the whole team, Saka's very good. Look, I think they've got some marvellous players, but Saliba is the one that is. He's generational, Saliba. So they've got a couple of very, very good players there. I think they're stronger at centre back. They have got back. They would have been. I think they've done the right thing, but Timber got injured, didn't he? So but they missed a big trick in the striker. I don't think Nketiah is anywhere near good enough. Jesus gets loads of injuries, so I think they've missed a big trick, and they let Xhaka go. You could use his experience. So I think they messed up as well. Them and Chelsea, I can't believe they didn't sign another striker. I just can't believe Nicholas Jackson and Nketiah. I can't believe it.
Hang on. They brought Nkunu, right, for nearly £80 million.
And Conco, wasn't it? And he got injured. He comes back in January, they reckon.
How many more players are in the sign?
Finally, the Goons play tomorrow night in the Champions League at home to PSV. Johnny, do you think that changes things? Does that work in our favour? And what's your prediction of the Spurs-Arsenal game? And I want to score.
I would say that I wish they were playing away against a tougher team. You couldn't have asked for it. Apart from Sevilla, they couldn't have picked a better group to be in, to be honest with you. PSV have sold a couple of their best players.
Sangari's gone.
Yeah, so
that was who I wanted.
They're a proper selling club, aren't they? They're a proper selling club.
I wanted Gift through that from PSV. Feyenoord, who scored again tonight, who's like a multi-purpose centre back.
Oh, Gravenberch. That's why I wanted Slot. Slot would have brought him with.
So exactly, Gistrud is like a top player. Anyway, I think Arsenal should win comfortably at home. I would have liked a tougher game, as I said. I think they're 4 games unbeaten, PSV. But come on, it's Holland. I would have preferred a tougher game. They probably can rest players for that game, which we didn't have the privilege of doing last season. We had to play our first team. Let's hope they get a couple of injuries. That'd be lovely. I'm going to go for a draw on the weekend. 2-2 at Desmond.
Draw. Brian, 13 years since we beat Arsenal at the Emirates. How do you see the game going? And does it give us an advantage tomorrow?
It may do. It may do that. Well, the thing is, we'll now see how much of an advantage of us only playing 1 game a week is. When we played them recently and they've been in the Europa League, they've had to come off playing an okay team. And then us, whether you want to call us a good team or a stronger team than what they're playing, whatever. This is where we're coming off fresh. We've had a day's extra rest already from Saturday to Sunday. Then they've had another game. We're going in there. I'm actually going. It's my first ever time to the Emirates. So I am very much looking forward to this. Mate, I love the away days. Mate, I love the away games. I prefer them, even if I was going to the stadium, more than the home games. Right, this season the last 2 have been incredible, but
I'm with you.
I've been saying, for me, with this game, for the first time in 4, 5, 6 years, the majority of the team will be having their first North London derby. They go into this game knowing that when you sign for this club, this is the game that matters. This is the game where you put in a performance. This is the game where you show up. Whether we win, lose or draw, the one thing that we know is this team will put in a performance. It won't be like the old guard that have gone there the last few years, just gone, oh yes, Arsenal, the fans love this one, but and just not shown up and been horrific. I actually think, and I put a tweet out, I honestly think if this man turns up, we win, and that's Yves Bissouma. I don't think anyone can live with him at the moment at all. And I just think if he turns up like he did against Brighton, and I'm actually for the first time in God knows how long, not going for a draw. I'm going for a 2-1 or a 3-2 win. Like the curse of manager of the month has been
Arsenal
broken.
were chasing him for 2 seasons, weren't they? Bissouma, they were chasing him for 2 seasons, Arsenal. So yeah,
it
would be nice.
Manager of the month curse has been broken. They say things come in 3s. The next one out of to become 2 of the 3 is breaking the North London derby curse at the Emirates, and we're winning this 2-1 or 3-2.
Harry Kane was the curse. Harry Kane was the curse, and now he's
gone. We almost got through a whole. You hate speaking about him, and you brought him up.
The curse has been lifted.
No, we're not getting there. We're not going there. But I won't have people having a go at Harry Kane. We could have still done with it. We could have still, if we had Maddison and Harry Kane, this could have been incredible this season. We've got to move on, definitely. But that's one of my biggest problems with the transfer window. I love Brennan Johnson. I think he's a good player, but we need number 9. We've got like 7 wingers, but no number 9, which is very odd. But finally, what was your Brian predicted 3-1 draw for Johnny?
No,
Dan,
3-2 or 2-1.
Okay, 1 goal. We're going to win by 1 goal.
Yeah.
Go score. Both teams are going to score. Dan, what's your prediction? And does tomorrow's game make a difference? Are you going to be tuning in to Arsenal PSV?
I've got no intention of watching that one, but I obviously will be watching the other one. You see, the problem is with this one that I'm worried about is I don't think Arsenal have even got out of first gear yet. We're already in third gear. That's what I'm worried about on that one. And where it's at Arsenal and everything else and that, I'm just going to be honest. At best, I'd say we'll get 2-2. But I think the highest chances are it's going to be 2-1 to them. And that's just being realistic.
I think somebody's put in the chat, and it is going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see Basuma versus Wright. Rice. They're going to be in battle, but it would be good to see who comes out on top. It would be good to see Saliba and Romero playing in the same game. They won't really come up against each other, maybe from corners, but 2 very good centre backs, 2 very good cams, Odegaard and Maddison. Odegaard gets a lot of stick, but I tell you now, Odegaard's a player. So it's going to be a great game. You know, both teams are going to be on the front foot. That's for sure. So
I think Basuma is our best player. I think he's the best player we got at Tottenham, Basuma.
Yeah, he is.
Obviously, he won't get the same sort of credit that Maddison would. Don't get me wrong, Maddison has been outstanding. No 2 ways about it, yeah? But for me, Basuma is like our Michael Carrick sort of thing.
He's our 100 million man.
He's that player that, you notice him on the pitch and that, but you'll notice him more if he's not there than when he is there sort of thing. Like a Michael Carrick sort of thing. He's our heartbeat.
I think whoever was in charge, even like Mason and Stellini, I mean, he was injured for the second half of last season, Basuma, wasn't he? Bentancur was gone since February. So we do have much more strength and depth.
I think Basuma's much better than Bentancur, and I get told I'm crazy for it, but I think he's significantly better than Bentancur. But again,
before we go, I just want to say, big up to Delane. He's part of the channel now. They stream on a Saturday, 1 p.m. usually. The Total Hotspur boys is Delane, Brad and Jason. They've got a fantastic thing going there. So if you haven't watched their show yet, 1 p.m. Saturday, I'm actually going to try and get them to do a little bit earlier on Sunday because it's 2 p.m. kickoff, isn't it, the Arsenal game? So make sure if you subscribe to the channel, you'll be able to catch that and subscribe to their channel, Total Spurs. We'll get everyone plugged in a second. But finally, look, we're at home. Arsenal are at home against PSV. I don't think it makes a great deal of difference. It should be an easy 3 points. The thing is, okay, we're fresh, but if they win, they're on the road. So it's good to sometimes keep playing and winning. And on the other side, it's good to keep players fresh, make sure they don't get injured. So hopefully someone gets injured for them against PSV tomorrow night. Will I be watching? I do actually like watching teams play when we're coming up against them. So that's why I watched Arsenal Everton on the weekend. They were okay. They were okay. 13 years we haven't won at the Emirates. I think it's going to be a draw. Would I take a draw? No, I don't want to take a draw. We can win this game. I wouldn't take a draw. I think we can win this game. So, personally, I wouldn't take a draw. You never know. 13 years could be our lucky number, It could be our lucky number. Right, okay. Yes, exactly. We're going to wrap things up there. It's been emotional. It's certainly been emotional. Alex Box Office has said his bit. Stell's had to go on another channel, but they're all heavily involved. Thank you so much for the people in the chat. Please smash a like if you haven't already done so. And of course, I'm going to take the banner away now. I'm going to take Delane's name away now because we need to plug our brilliant guests. So, Johnny, what are you up to, my friend? You and Daigle have got a thing going on, I think it's safe to say.
Yeah, we got around Ange management and obviously Cockerel Doodle Doo in the mornings. But Ange management's the one that's really flying at the moment. We do that after every game. It seems to be very popular all over the place. People are actually searching for it, which is great. And you can find me personally. There we go.
He's got his finger ready. See, Johnny, do it before it comes up. Put the finger where
sorry.
Oh my God, it was bang on. It was bang on, Johnny.
This guy's the Twitter mafia. This guy's the Twitter bomb.
It was
Johnny.
Bang on.
I came too early, man. So there you go. Come and follow me here on Johnny H3232. We would be doing spaces, but I'm not doing one now because I'm absolutely smashed after this 2.5 hour epic.
It was supposed to be 2 hours, but you and Stell just wouldn't stop. So what can I say?
Yeah, well, I didn't know he was coming on tonight, so
it was great debate though. People love it, and rightly so, because it's never personal. It's always football.
No,
it's good.
So come and follow us here. Give us a follow and come and be part of our spaces, or come and watch Brian and I on Tottenham on Tour with Ange Management and Cockerel Doodle Doo. I'll leave the rest to Brian.
And Brian, very much the host of Tottenham on Tour now.
Listen, there's going to be a lot of changes when it comes, because I go back to Toronto in a week and 5 days. I'm going back home where I belong. So obviously, Cockerel Doodle Doo, as much as I love spending time with Johnny and getting up to be with fellow like-minded Spurs fans, I'm not getting up at 10 to 4 in the morning every single day to do a stream. So there will be some changes, but I will be getting up at 9:30 or 4:30 in the morning every day after match day, so we can keep Ange Management going, because as Johnny said, that's a show that we are using as our flagship show. But when I'm back, me and Brian Ireland will be doing a hell of a lot more together. Johnny and Ben will be doing a lot more here with Amir and Danny for the European. So we're going transatlantic. But tomorrow we've got 2 shows coming on. We got Cockerel Doodle Doo with me and Johnny in the morning. We've got a couple of guests joining us, and I'm then doing a quick pre-record with someone you know, Johnny, Tommy, very well, and Johnny knows, but I don't know if Dan knows, Ian Meth. Now, Ian Meth is a man who, from the second we sacked Conte, wanted Ange Postecoglou as manager.
Him being a Celtic fan and living in Scotland had nothing to do with that. But this is a bit born and bred England, Spurs fan, born and bred. And we're going to do a pre-record show and just how Ange deals with Derby week and how he has dealt with derbies, whether it be in the build-up, team selection, how he conducts himself in the media, what it means to him, really diving deep into how Ange deals with Derby Day. And obviously he's coming from one of the biggest there is. So it's going to be a real big insight into what Ange does. And that will be going out tomorrow afternoon. It'll be pre-recorded tomorrow and going out tomorrow afternoon. So anyone who wants a bit of a deeper dive into what Ange Postecoglou does during this time, check out Tottenham on Tour tomorrow afternoon. Make sure you do that. Make sure you'd be crazy if you haven't subscribed already. But if you haven't, get over there, get your notification bells on and watch that.
And no, I don't come too early.
Sorry, Johnny.
I was waiting for you to reply to that. I was seeing if you was replying to that one.
Yeah, I hadn't missed it. No, it's a joke, right? No additives necessary and nothing too early. But thanks for your concern.
Bit of Red Bull always
works. It's brilliant that that just came in my mind as well when Daigle mentioned the derbies. And I'll tell you what, look, SPL's a Mickey Mouse league. I don't care what anybody tells me. Rangers and Celtic haven't not won the trophy since the league trophy since 1984, and that was Alex Ferguson's Aberdeen. So it is a Mickey Mouse league other than those two. But I tell you what, the Old Firm derby is still huge. So he knows how to deal with an Old Firm derby. So, I love Spurs Arsenal. But
I've been to a few Old Firm
bigger than Spurs Arsenal. It used to be crazy back in the day in the 90s. I had a bloke. They used to go in boiler suit.
I used to go
in like lab suits.
I was a Rangers fan, Tommy. I was up there when Gazza played. I was in the change room in the dressing.
Oh, were you at the flute? Were you there for the flute?
Yeah, Ali McCoist. I was there for Coisty, Haitley, all of that. Yeah. Great time.
It's religious though, isn't it? It's religious. I think that's one of the biggest Catholics against Protestants. So it's
I knew
violent.
what Derby was until I went up there. Yeah.
Right, Dan, you're here, there, and everywhere.
Right, before you give Dan, my wife is trying to call me. She just got home from work, so I'm going to leave right now. I will speak to you all later.
Me too.
And as always, Levy out.
And peace out. I think Alex is coming just in time to plug himself.
Alex.
So,
Tommy, thank you very much. Dan, always a pleasure.
See you later, mate. Take care.
Take care.
Take it easy, Johnny. Take it easy, Johnny.
Take care.
Dan, as I said, you're here, there, everywhere. We had Spurs added on. Alan was on the comments earlier. You do a lot on there as well. You're always here on a Tuesday night, and we are going to do a bit more together. And down the line, like the Hotspur boys do on a Saturday, we're going to try and get a bit of a stream show going for Danny, let's say. And Box Office, you're invited. You're invited to this channel all the time, Mr. Box Office. Plug yourself, brother. Plug yourself. Tell us what you're up to. Tell us how we can subscribe to your channel.
Well, Mr. Box Office TV, I'm trying to do some more content, working on some more content. And yeah, you'll see some more soon. I'm heading towards 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, so that's it really. Well, I'm doing some more investigative work on this club because there's certain things that I feel that it's just not covered in that sense. The good, the bad, well, the best, the worst, and the bang average is still in progress, top 5, and that's it really. And then you got your Mr. Bots of Unleashed live streams as well, which will come soon when the time is right, when I need to say something, and that's it. So yeah, that's it. That's all it is, and that's it. And just keep yourself locked in on Mr. Bots Office TV, and that's it. You know, I do it on my own. I'm Lone Ranger, and that's it. Because if you don't know, you should have got to know already. Back to you, Tommy. I'm done.
Even when Alex is knackered, he's still got it. He's still got his plug down. And I tell you what, you have to get to his channel. You have to subscribe because it's an injustice, the fact that he hasn't hit 1K yet. Even if you disagree with him, I think a lot of people disagree and agree with Mr. Box Office, but get over there, subscribe. And before you go tonight, whether you're watching live right now or on the recording, because we get a few people watching on the recording, get in the comments, tell me what you have to say. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, notification bell. Also, next stream will be Friday lunchtime. Usually I'll do it Thursday lunchtime, but something's happened. It's a Friday lunchtime. Come join me. I'll do my solo stuff. We'll go over a lot of the topics we've already gone over, and we'll preview the game in depth. And as it's solo, I can get in a chat and I can interact with everyone. Very difficult tonight. Very, very difficult tonight. You've got Johnny, Stell, Dan, Alex, Daigle. That's for sure. If you had one
Emotional.
of them, if you had one, it'd be difficult. We had 5 of the biggest mouths in the Spurs community. So very, very difficult to read out people's chat. But on the solo shows, you'll get exactly that. Yeah, peace out, everyone. Stay safe, stay free, and stay classy, Lily Whites.
See you later, everyone.
Right, peace out, boys.